Your life has a way of testing you. You face moments where you feel weak, unsure, or stuck. You wonder if you have the strength to push forward, to change, to become someone who can handle life's challenges without being overwhelmed. This audiobook is for those moments. It is for anyone who has ever felt small in the face of problems, unsure of how to rise, or frustrated by the gap between who they are and who they want to become. In the next few hours, you will learn practical, real steps to take control of your life. You will discover how to face your fears instead of running from them. You will see how to build habits that strengthen your mind and body. You will learn how to handle pressure, stay calm in chaos, and keep moving when everything inside you wants to stop. This is not about magic or quick fixes. It is about discipline, action, and commitment, how to make your daily choices work for you instead of against you. You will hear how to turn pain into purpose, how to wake up ready to take charge of your day, and how to speak to yourself with belief and confidence. You will learn why the people you surround yourself with matter, and how clear goals can transform your focus and drive. Most importantly, you will discover how to stand tall, no matter what comes your way, and become the person your life truly needs. This audiobook is designed to guide you step by step, giving you advice you can actually apply every day. You will feel the power of small wins, the importance of facing challenges head-on, and the impact of consistent action. By the end, you won't just be inspired. You will know exactly what to do to grow stronger, more disciplined, and ready to take full control of your life. Stay with this journey. Listen closely, apply what you hear, and take notes if you need to. Every chapter will push you to rethink your habits, your mindset, and your choices. By the time you finish, you will understand what it really takes to move from weakness to warrior and how to step into that life today. Chapter 1. Rise up and take full responsibility for your life. Most people go through life waiting for someone or something to change their situation. They wait for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, or a helping hand to pull them out of their struggles. But life doesn't bend to wishes, it bends to action. There comes a time when you have to stand up, look at yourself in the mirror, and realize that no one is coming to save you. Your life changes the moment you decide to take full responsibility for it. That decision separates those who remain stuck from those who rise. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. Because when you take ownership, you take control. You stop being a victim of your past, your circumstances, and your excuses. You become the author of your own story. It begins with a shift in mindset. Responsibility is not about blame. It's about power. When something goes wrong, most people point fingers. They blame their parents, their boss, their luck, or the world. It feels comfortable to believe that someone else caused your pain, because then you don't have to fix it. But that comfort is a trap. It keeps you small, weak, and dependent. Taking responsibility means saying, even if it's not my fault, it's still my responsibility to rise above it. It's not about who caused the fire, it's about who's going to put it out. You may not have chosen every challenge in your life, but you have the power to respond to every one of them with strength and purpose. The moment you accept that everything in your life, your results, your habits, your mindset, your happiness, is a reflection of your own choices, everything changes. You stop wasting time waiting for perfect conditions and start working with what you have. You stop wishing for less difficulty and start building more strength. You begin to see problems as opportunities to grow tougher, wiser, and sharper. Every great warrior was once broken. Every strong person you admire once faced moments of weakness. What made them different was not luck, it was accountability. They looked at their pain and said, "This is mine to handle." Taking full responsibility also means being brutally honest with yourself. That's the hardest part. It means facing the reality of where you are, financially, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It means admitting that your current life is the result of your past decisions. Maybe you didn't take your health seriously. Maybe you wasted time on distractions instead of discipline. Maybe you allowed fear to stop you from pursuing your goals. Whatever the case, honesty is the first step to freedom. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. Truth is the foundation of growth. Without it, you'll keep lying to yourself, making excuses and wondering why nothing changes. When you start taking responsibility, you begin to see that every decision carries a consequence. Every choice either moves you closer to strength or further into weakness. The food you eat, the people you spend time with, the thoughts you entertain, the routines you follow, each of these shapes your future. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to life instead of directing it. But warriors live deliberately. They wake up with intention. They understand that life rewards action, not wishes. They know that discipline builds freedom and excuses destroy it. The one who takes responsibility gains control over his destiny because he no longer waits for things to happen, he makes them happen. Many people avoid responsibility because it feels heavy. But what they don't realize is that avoiding responsibility makes life heavier. When you refuse to take control, you carry the weight of regret, guilt, and frustration. When you take control, you carry the weight of growth, progress, and strength. Both are hard, but one leads to peace, the other to suffering. The truth is, your life doesn't get easier, you just get stronger, and strength comes from ownership. Every time you choose to face your challenges head-on, you build resilience. Every time you refuse to blame others and take charge of your response, you grow tougher inside. That's how you transform from weakness to warrior, from reactive to deliberate, from passive to powerful. Taking responsibility also means understanding that your mind is your greatest weapon. Your thoughts create your reality. If you keep telling yourself that you're a victim, you'll act like one. If you keep saying that you can't, you'll never try. But when you shift your mindset to ownership, you reclaim your power. Instead of saying, "I can't," you start asking, "How can I?" Instead of saying, "I failed," you start saying, "I learned." The language you use with yourself matters because it shapes how you see the world. Warriors speak to themselves with truth and conviction. They don't drown in self-pity. They use it as fuel to rise higher. True responsibility means you stop negotiating with your goals. You stop waiting to feel motivated or ready. You stop blaming your environment, your upbringing, or your circumstances. You understand that life is not fair, and it doesn't need to be. What matters is not fairness, but focus. You take what you have, where you are, and you use it to build something better. Every day becomes an opportunity to do the next right thing, to take one more step toward the person you want to become. Progress might be slow, but responsibility keeps you moving forward even when it's uncomfortable. You can see responsibility in action when you start to take charge of your habits. If your mornings are chaotic, it's your responsibility to fix them. If you're tired all the time, it's your responsibility to change your sleep or nutrition. If your relationships drain you, it's your responsibility to set boundaries. If you're not where you want to be financially, it's your responsibility to learn to save, to take initiative. Life will never hand you ideal conditions. The warrior understands that conditions don't determine success, commitment does. Every small improvement compounds over time, and every excuse delays your growth. There's a deep peace that comes from responsibility. When you know that you're in control of your life, you stop living in fear. You no longer waste time blaming or complaining because you realize that both are powerless acts. Complaining is the language of weakness. Taking action is the language of strength. Every time you complain, you give away a piece of your power. Every time you act, you reclaim it. Responsibility turns chaos into clarity. It transforms pain into progress. It gives meaning to your struggles because you start to see every hardship as a chance to become better, not bitter. You also begin to see that no one owes you anything. Not your family, not society, not your past. The world doesn't owe you comfort, opportunity, or understanding. You owe it to yourself. To create them. That's a hard truth. But it's liberating. When you stop expecting and start executing, life opens up. You stop measuring your worth through comparison and start measuring it through effort. You realize that success doesn't come from being lucky, it comes from showing up consistently, even when no one is watching. Responsibility requires humility. You have to accept that you don't know everything, that you've made mistakes, and that there's still so much to learn. But humility is not weakness. It's strength under control. It allows you to see your blind spots, to seek growth instead of validation, and to admit when you're wrong without shame. The warrior's path is not about pretending to be perfect. It's about becoming aware and improving daily. Taking responsibility means you stop defending your limitations and start breaking them. You no longer say, "That's just how I am." Instead, you ask, "How can I become better?" Responsibility is also about discipline. Discipline is the proof that you've taken ownership of your time, your choices, and your potential. It's waking up when you don't feel like it. It's doing what needs to be done without waiting for inspiration. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. When you practice it daily, you stop relying on emotion and start relying on structure. That's how warriors are built, through consistency, not comfort. Responsibility and discipline walk hand in hand. One demands the other. To take responsibility for your life, you must stop living by reaction and start living by design. That means setting clear standards for yourself and refusing to lower them for anyone or anything. It means making decisions based on principles, not moods. When you commit to your values, integrity, honesty, perseverance, you begin to feel a new kind of strength inside. You no longer need external validation because your power comes from within. You trust yourself, and that trust builds momentum. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce your inner strength. That's how self-respect is born, not through words, but through action. Another part of responsibility is learning to manage your emotions. Life will test you. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will challenge your patience. But how you respond defines who you are. When you take responsibility, you stop blaming others for how you feel. You understand that anger, sadness, frustration, all of them are part of life, but they don't control you unless you allow them to. You take a breath, you observe, and you choose your response. That's mastery. That's strength. The warrior is not someone who feels no pain. It's someone who refuses to be ruled by it. Many people delay responsibility because they think they're not ready. They wait for confidence, motivation, or a perfect plan. But those things come after you start, not before. You become confident by keeping your word. You become motivated by taking action. You gain clarity by moving forward. Taking responsibility means acting before you feel ready. Trusting that you'll learn along the way. Every step forward, no matter how small, builds courage, and courage, over time, turns weakness into strength. When you live without responsibility, you drift. You depend on chance, luck, or other people to dictate your life. But when you rise and take ownership, you steer your own ship. You might still face storms, but at least you're holding the wheel. You learn to adjust your sails instead of cursing the wind. That's the essence of power, control over yourself, not over the world, because life will always be unpredictable. What matters is your ability to respond with wisdom, discipline, and determination. You'll also find that when you take responsibility, your relationships change. You stop expecting others to make you happy or to complete you. You stop blaming them for your unhappiness. Instead, you focus on becoming someone who brings value, peace, and strength to others. You take ownership of your communication, your boundaries, and your energy. You attract better people because you live with intention, not neediness. You respect others because you've learned to respect yourself. Taking responsibility is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. It's in the small choices you make every morning, getting out of bed when you said you would, keeping your word, managing your time, controlling your impulses, staying focused on your mission. Each act of responsibility builds momentum, and the more momentum you have, the more unstoppable you become. Over time, this discipline reshapes your identity. You start seeing yourself as capable, strong, and reliable. You trust your ability to handle life, no matter what it throws at you. There's also a quiet confidence that comes with the responsibility. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. You know who you are and what you stand for. You don't need recognition because you're driven by purpose, not applause. You stop chasing validation and start chasing mastery, and that shift brings peace. A peace that only comes when you know that your life is in your hands. Responsibility is not glamorous. It's not always exciting. It's often hard, quiet, unrecognized. But it's the foundation of every strong life. Without it, no success lasts. Without it, no growth is real. The ones who rise above their circumstances are not the lucky ones. They're the ones who take full ownership of everything that happens and turn it into fuel. They don't wait for someone to choose them. They choose themselves every single day. If you want to transform from weakness to warrior, it starts here. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, take full responsibility for your thoughts, your actions, your choices, and your results. Accept that your life is a reflection of you, and if you don't like what you see, you have the power to change it. Don't run from that truth, embrace it, because that's where your freedom lies. The warrior is not born from comfort. He is born from accountability, forged through struggle, and strengthened by consistency. Every time you take ownership of your life, you rise a little higher. Every time you face your reality with honesty and courage, you reclaim your power, and over time, that power turns into unshakable confidence, quiet strength, and inner peace. You stop fearing life because you know you can handle it. You stop blaming and start building. You stop surviving and start leading. Rise up and take full responsibility for your life. Not because it's easy, but because it's the only way to truly live. The world respects those who stand tall, who own their story, who fight for their growth. Be one of them. Stand up, take charge, and become the warrior your life has been waiting for. Chapter 2. Face your fears and act with inner courage. Fear has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. It's the silent barrier between who you are and who you could become. Every person who has ever achieved something great has faced moments of deep fear. Fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of not being enough. But courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward despite it. The one who becomes a warrior is not the one who never feels afraid, but the one who refuses to let fear dictate their life. Fear has a strange way of disguising itself. Sometimes it looks like hesitation, sometimes like overthinking, sometimes like waiting for the right time. It whispers that you're not ready yet, that you might fail, that others will laugh. And if you listen long enough, it convinces you to stay where you are, comfortable, safe, but unfulfilled. The truth is, fear doesn't disappear on its own. You have to face it, walk through it, and prove to yourself that it has no real power over you. Fear is like a shadow. It looks larger when you stand still. But the moment you take a step forward, it begins to shrink. Courage begins in silence. It starts with that private moment when you decide you're tired of letting fear control your choices. You realize that life is too short to let hesitation steal your opportunities. You don't need a grand gesture to be brave. Sometimes courage is simply speaking your truth, setting a boundary, applying for a job you don't feel ready for, or walking away from something that no longer serves you. Courage is not loud, it's steady. It's choosing to act even when your hands shake. Everyone feels fear, but few people train themselves to act through it. Most wait for confidence before taking action, not realizing that action is what builds confidence. You become brave by doing the very thing that scares you. Each time you face fear and move anyway, you grow a little stronger inside. Your mind starts to learn that discomfort doesn't mean danger, it means growth. The warrior understands this truth deeply. He doesn't wait for perfect conditions, he creates them by confronting what others avoid. You can't conquer fear by avoiding it. Avoidance only strengthens it. When you hide from what frightens you, the fear multiplies in your mind. But when you face it, it loses its control. Think about it. How many times have you imagined something would be unbearable, only to find that it wasn't nearly as bad once you faced it? That's the mind playing tricks, feeding on uncertainty. Fear lives in imagination, but courage lives in reality. Once you step into action, the fog clears, and you realize that most fears are exaggerations of your mind. To act with inner courage, you must stop letting the opinions of others control you. Fear of judgment holds more people back than any physical obstacle. People spend years trying to fit in, silencing their truth, living small because they worry about what others might say. But courage means understanding that you are not here to please everyone. You are here to live authentically. The ones who criticize you aren't the ones fighting your battles or walking your path. You owe it to yourself to live with integrity, not approval. When you stop fearing what others think, you unlock freedom. Courage also means accepting uncertainty. Fear feeds on the unknown. It makes you overanalyze every possibility and paralyzes your decision-making. But no one can predict the future. The only way to shape it is to act. When you take a leap of faith, you might fall, but you might also fly. The difference between the two outcomes lies in your willingness to try. Courage is not reckless. It's calculated strength. It's weighing the risks, accepting them, and still moving forward, because the reward of growth is worth the possibility of discomfort. Every act of courage rewires your mind. When you push through fear, your brain learns that you can survive uncertainty. That memory becomes part of your identity. You start to see yourself as capable and resilient. Over time, what once terrified you becomes your new normal. The warrior trains himself this way. He seeks out challenges, not because he enjoys pain, but because he knows that courage must be exercised like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Fear is also a teacher. It reveals what you care about most. If you fear failure, it means you value success. If you fear rejection, it means connection matters to you. Instead of running from fear, listen to it. It points toward the areas where growth is waiting. But growth demands that you step beyond what's comfortable. That's where courage becomes essential, not as a one-time act, but as a daily mindset. Every morning you choose whether to let fear limit you or to let courage expand you. Sometimes, courage looks like perseverance. It's getting up again after being knocked down, starting over when things fall apart, trying again after rejection. The world often celebrates the results of courage, victories, success, confidence, but rarely acknowledges the silent battles fought behind closed doors. The warrior knows that true courage isn't about applause, it's about endurance. It's the quiet choice to rise each day and fight for your purpose even when no one believes in you yet. To develop inner courage, you must stop chasing comfort. Comfort weakens the will. Every time you avoid discomfort, you strengthen the habit of fear. Courage grows only when you put yourself in situations that stretch your limits. Speak when you want to stay silent. Stand up for what's right, even when it's unpopular. Try something new when failure feels possible. Each act of courage builds a new layer of inner armor. Soon what once terrified you becomes your foundation of strength. Fear will always try to whisper doubt into your mind. It will tell you to wait, to play it safe, to lower your expectations. But life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards movement. You cannot think your way into courage. You act your way into it. The first step is always the hardest. But once you take it, the rest follow naturally. Action silences fear faster than any thought ever could. The more responsibility you take for your fears, the less power they have over you. Instead of asking, "Why am I so afraid?" start asking, "What can I do about it?" That question shifts you from victim to warrior instantly. You realize that courage is not about removing fear, it's about responding to it with strength. Every time you face a fear, no matter how small, you are reprogramming your mind to believe in your ability to overcome. Real courage also means trusting yourself. Many fears come from self-doubt, the belief that you can't handle what's ahead. But when you build self-trust through discipline and consistency, fear loses its grip. You start to believe that no matter what happens, you'll find a way. That trust becomes your armor. It allows you to face uncertainty with calm strength, because you know that failure isn't the end, it's feedback. Inner courage is quiet but powerful. It's the voice that says, "Keep going" when you want to quit. It's the strength that helps you stand tall after a setback. It's the calm confidence that grows when you realize you've survived everything you once feared. That kind of courage doesn't come overnight. It's built one decision at a time. Each time you face something uncomfortable and choose progress over fear, you earn a new level of peace within yourself. You'll never eliminate fear completely, but you can learn to walk alongside it without letting it steer your path. You can feel the fear, acknowledge it, and still move forward. That's what separates those who live fully from those who merely exist. Fear will always test you before it teaches you. Each test is an opportunity to grow into the person you were meant to be. Every great transformation begins with a single act of bravery. The warrior's path is not about never being afraid. It's about refusing to let fear make decisions for you. Once you commit to facing your fears daily, you start living with a sense of power and purpose that few people ever experience. You become unshakable because you've learned to confront what most people run from, and that is where real freedom begins. So when fear rises, don't shrink, rise with it. When doubt creeps in, answer it with action. When your mind tells you to stop, remind yourself that every step forward is another victory. Courage doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you won't surrender to it. The day you stop letting fear control your choices is the day you start living with real strength. And from that moment on, every challenge becomes a chance to prove that you are no longer held back by what once held you down. Chapter 3. Build daily discipline that shapes your strong mindset. Discipline is the invisible bridge between your potential and your reality. It's not talent, luck, or motivation that shapes your destiny. It's the ability to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Every strong mind, every successful life, every resilient spirit is built on the foundation of daily discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it's a commitment to growth. It's the daily promise you make to yourself that no excuse will be stronger than your purpose. When you build discipline, you stop living by emotion and start living by intention. Most people move through life based on how they feel. If they feel tired, they stop. If they feel uninspired, they quit. If it feels uncomfortable, they back away. But emotions are temporary, and discipline is permanent. The one who learns to act regardless of feeling is the one who masters his life. Discipline gives you structure when motivation fades. It keeps you grounded when distractions try to pull you away from your goals. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about showing up consistently enough to make progress inevitable. Building discipline begins with small, deliberate actions. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You start by keeping promises to yourself, even the smallest ones. Wake up when you said you would. Finish what you start. Eat what fuels your body, not what comforts your emotions. Do one more rip when your mind tells you to stop. Each small act of control builds inner strength. Over time, those choices harden your mindset like steel. You start to see yourself differently, no longer as someone who wishes, but as someone who acts. Discipline reshapes your thoughts. It teaches your mind that comfort is not the goal, growth is. When you train yourself to do difficult things daily, you stop fearing challenge and start embracing it. You begin to crave progress more than pleasure. You learn that satisfaction doesn't come from what's easy. It comes from knowing you're becoming stronger, sharper, and more capable than you were yesterday. Discipline is the gym for your mind. It's where you lift the weight of resistance every single day until strength becomes your new standard. A disciplined mindset doesn't appear overnight. It's forged in the moments when no one is watching. When you're tempted to skip the workout, when you want to sleep instead of study, when you'd rather waste time instead of improving yourself. Those are the crossroads where character is built. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you create a new version of yourself. That's how mental toughness is born. Not through big victories, but through quiet consistency. Daily discipline also means mastering your time. Every hour you waste is an hour you'll never get back. People often say they don't have time, but what they really lack is focus. Discipline gives you control over your schedule. You stop letting random impulses dictate your day. You plan, you prioritize, and you execute. You learn that every minute spent on distraction steals from your dreams. The disciplined person understands that time is life, and wasting time is wasting potential. When you begin to treat each day as an opportunity to move closer to your goals, everything in your life starts to align. A strong mindset grows when you stop negotiating with your excuses. Excuses sound reasonable. They make you feel justified for staying still, but discipline demands honesty. You can't lie to yourself and grow at the same time. Every time you skip what's necessary, you reinforce weakness. Every time you follow through, you reinforce strength. The difference between the person who wins and the person who quits isn't capability, it's consistency. One keeps going through boredom, fatigue, and doubt. The other stops when it gets inconvenient. The choice between the two happens every single day. The beauty of discipline is that it simplifies life. When you commit to structure, you remove endless decisions. You no longer ask yourself, should I do this? You simply do it. You stop wasting energy debating what's right and start living by standards you've already set. That mental clarity frees up space for growth, creativity, and peace. Chaos drains the mind. Order empowers it. Discipline is not rigidity, it's liberation from indecision. It allows you to move with calm focus, knowing that your actions align with your purpose. Many people rely on motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. It's what gets you up early, when your bed feels warm. It's what pushes you to work when your mind says rest. It's what reminds you that results are built on repetition, not emotion. You cannot control how you feel, but you can control what you do. That is the essence of discipline, a daily decision to stay loyal to your vision, regardless of your state of mind. When you build daily discipline, you also strengthen your self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove that your word matters. That trust becomes the foundation of confidence. You no longer need external validation because you know you can rely on yourself. You begin to see that discipline is not about restriction, it's about freedom. Freedom from guilt, from chaos, from inconsistency. Freedom to build a life you're proud of. The more disciplined you become, the lighter you feel, because you're no longer carrying the weight of broken promises. A disciplined mind is also resilient. It doesn't crumble under pressure because it's used to doing hard things. When challenges come, it doesn't panic, it adapts, it doesn't complain, it calculates. That steadiness is what separates warriors from wanderers. Discipline gives you emotional control. It trains you to act based on principle, not impulse. When everyone else reacts to the noise of the world, you stay focused on your mission. That's the kind of strength that can't be faked. It's earned through repetition and self-control. To build daily discipline, create non-negotiable habits. Decide which actions define your growth and make them part of your daily structure. Whether it's exercising, reading, journaling, planning your day, or meditating, do them no matter what. The power lies in consistency, not intensity. Small daily victories compound into massive transformation. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for persistence. Even on your worst days, do something. Momentum is built one step at a time. Discipline doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. Discipline also sharpens your awareness. You start to notice how much energy you waste on things that don't matter. You become mindful of your thoughts, your environment, and the people you spend time with. You protect your focus because you realize that distraction is the enemy of growth. The disciplined person chooses simplicity. They cut out what's unnecessary so they can invest fully in what matters. That clarity becomes a superpower in a world full of noise. The process of building discipline will test you. You will face resistance from your own mind. It will tell you to stop, to rest, to take the easy path, but if you stay consistent, something remarkable happens. You begin to transform, your identity shifts. You stop identifying as someone who struggles and start seeing yourself as someone who conquers. You start trusting that no matter what happens, you can depend on your effort. That inner confidence is not arrogance, it's earned assurance. Discipline is also a form of respect for your time, your goals, and your potential. It's saying, I value my future more than my temporary comfort. It's realizing that every action today shapes the person you'll be tomorrow. The stronger your discipline, the clearer your direction. You begin to move through life with purpose instead of drifting aimlessly. Every day becomes a step toward mastery, and each step builds strength that no one can take away from you. A strong mindset isn't built in moments of ease. It's built in early mornings, in lonely hours, in repeated effort when no one is watching. It's built when you refuse to let laziness win, when you stay committed even when the results are slow. Discipline is the quiet force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It doesn't happen overnight, but every day you practice it, you are sharpening your mind, shaping your character, and building the inner foundation of a warrior. In the end, discipline is love. Love for your purpose, love for your growth, love for your future self. It's not about control, it's about care. When you practice discipline daily, you show yourself that you are worth the effort. You stop chasing quick satisfaction and start building lasting fulfillment. That's how a strong mindset is born, not from comfort, but from consistent self-respect. So rise each day with intention. Do what you said you would do. Build your habits like armor. Let discipline be the quiet rhythm of your life, the force that turns struggle into strength and potential into power. Because when your discipline becomes unshakable, your mindset becomes unstoppable, and that's when you step fully into the path of the warrior. Chapter 4. Master your emotions and stay calm under pressure. True power is not shown in how loud you can shout, but in how calm you remain when the world around you starts to shake. A strong mind is not built in moments of peace. It's forged in storms, through the chaos that tries to pull you apart from the inside. When life tests you with pain, betrayal, or uncertainty, the way you respond defines who you are. Most people react, warriors respond, and that difference changes everything. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop letting your feelings control your actions. Anger, fear, sadness, these emotions are natural, but when you let them dictate your behavior, they destroy your focus, your relationships, and your ability to make wise decisions. The one who learns to stay centered while others lose control has already won half the battle of life. Every situation, no matter how difficult, gives you two choices: to be consumed by emotion or to rise above it with awareness. Emotional mastery begins with self-awareness. You must first understand what triggers you, what disturbs your peace, and what causes you to lose control. Many people go through life angry or anxious without ever asking themselves why. They react without reflection, trapped in cycles of frustration and regret. The first step is to pause before you respond, to create space between the emotion and the action. That pause is where wisdom lives. It's where you take back control from the chaos. When you train your mind to pause and observe instead of immediately reacting, you stop being a prisoner to your emotions. In moments of stress, your body releases energy through tension. Your breathing quickens, your muscles tighten, and your thoughts race. This is your body preparing for battle. But not every challenge needs a fight. The next time pressure builds, instead of trying to suppress it, acknowledge it. Take a deep, steady breath. Remind yourself that this feeling will pass. Breathing grounds your mind in the present and prevents emotion from turning into destruction. It's a small act, but it separates the strong from the weak. Many people believe that controlling emotions means hiding them, pretending everything is fine when it isn't. That's a mistake. True strength is not pretending to be unbothered. It's being honest with yourself while maintaining control. It's saying, I feel this pain, but it will not control me. I feel this anger, but I will not let it make my decisions. When you reach that level of awareness, life no longer pulls you in every direction. You become steady, focused, unshakable. Pressure will come from every side. Financial struggles, personal losses, disappointment from others, unexpected challenges. These things can break people who haven't trained their emotions. But for those who have built inner calm, pressure becomes a tool. It sharpens the mind and strengthens patience. The calm person sees opportunity where others see only chaos. They move wisely because their emotions no longer blind them. Imagine walking through a storm. Everyone is running, shouting, panicking, but you move with steady steps, seeing clearly through the rain. That's emotional mastery. It's not about ignoring the storm, but walking through it with awareness and calm. You can start mastering your emotions in daily life. When someone criticizes you, instead of reacting defensively, pause and listen. Ask yourself, is there truth in this, or is it just noise? When something doesn't go your way, don't complain or blame others. Focus on what you can control and move forward. When you feel fear, face it directly. The more you practice staying calm in small moments, the more control you gain in big moments. Emotional control is not built in crises, it's built in the quiet moments of self-discipline. Train yourself to separate emotion from action. You can feel anger without being cruel. You can feel fear without running away. You can feel sadness without giving up. Emotion becomes destructive only when it turns into reaction. The disciplined person channels their emotions into power. Anger becomes fuel for improvement. Fear becomes awareness. Sadness becomes depth. Every feeling can serve you when you learn to manage it instead of letting it rule you. Another way to stay calm under pressure is to shift your perspective. Often, we suffer more from our interpretation of events than from the events themselves. You lose a job and tell yourself you've failed, pain grows. But if you tell yourself it's an opportunity to rebuild, that same event becomes empowering. Your thoughts shape your emotional world. When you change the story you tell yourself, you change the way you feel. A warrior trains the mind to see things as they are, not worse than they are. They don't exaggerate problems. They face them directly with reason and clarity. Emotional mastery also requires letting go of what you cannot control. Much of our suffering comes from trying to control outcomes, people or circumstances beyond our reach. When you stop fighting reality, you free yourself. You learn to adapt, to move with life instead of against it. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means using your energy wisely. You stop wasting it on anger and focus it on action. Every day, remind yourself, I cannot control everything, but I can control my response. That single truth will keep your peace intact in any situation. To stay calm under pressure, you must also strengthen your self-belief. Many people lose control because they don't trust themselves to handle difficulties. When you doubt your strength, emotions take over, but when you believe in your ability to endure and overcome, calmness becomes natural. You don't panic because you know you can handle whatever comes. Every challenge becomes a test that confirms your strength, and with each one, your confidence grows. Your environment also influences your emotions. Surround yourself with people who remain composed under pressure, who respond with reason rather than chaos. Calm energy is contagious, just like panic. Observe those who live with emotional balance and learn from them. Notice how they speak, how they breathe, how they think. Their steadiness is not luck, it's training, and that training can become your own. When emotions rise, grounding yourself in the present moment helps you regain control. Feel your feet on the ground, focus on your breath, look around, and remind yourself that you are safe right now. Most emotional storms exist only in the mind. What might happen, what someone might say, what could go wrong. These imagined fears create unnecessary suffering. Staying present dissolves their power. You can't control the future or rewrite the past, but you can master the now, and that is where strength is found. One of the greatest lessons in emotional mastery is realizing that peace is not found outside, it's built within. You don't wait for life to calm down before you find calmness. You create it inside yourself despite the noise. You learn to be your own anchor. When things go wrong, you return to your center. When people disappoint you, you stay aligned with your values. When outcomes change, you stay focused on your purpose. That is what separates warriors from wanderers. Think of emotional mastery as a skill, not a gift. No one is born calm. They become calm through practice. You can train your emotional muscles the same way you train your body. It takes repetition, patience, and awareness. Every time you face frustration or fear and handle it with control, you grow stronger. Over time, emotional chaos loses its power over you. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. Your emotions no longer drive your life. You do. This mastery gives you freedom. You're no longer a slave to temporary feelings or unpredictable situations. You move through life with clarity, able to make decisions based on wisdom rather than impulse. People notice this calm energy. They trust it, they feel it, because a calm person brings peace wherever they go. That kind of strength can't be faked. It's earned through patience, discipline, and self-awareness. The world will continue to test your calm. Pressure will come in many forms. People will provoke you, plans will fail, emotions will rise. But each time you'll have a choice, to react blindly or to respond with purpose. Choose calm, choose clarity, choose strength, because mastering your emotions is mastering yourself. And when you master yourself, nothing outside of you can control you anymore. That is true freedom, and that is the essence of becoming a warrior. Chapter 5. Train your body daily to strengthen your inner power. Strength is not built in comfort. It's built through movement, through sweat, through the decision to show up for yourself every single day. Your body is the foundation of your life, and how you treat it determines how much power you can bring to everything you do. A weak body cannot carry a strong spirit for long. When you train your body daily, you are not just building muscles, you are building discipline, confidence, and inner stability that fuels every other part of your existence. Each morning you wake up, your body asks a simple question: will you use me to grow, or will you let me decay? Every decision you make, from how you move, to what you eat, to how you rest, answers that question. People often talk about mindset, ambition, and motivation, but forget that your body is the vehicle that carries your will. You can have the strongest dreams in the world, but if your body is weak, your energy will collapse under the weight of your goals. Training daily is not vanity. It's self-respect. It's how you keep your power alive. When you push your body, even a little, you awaken something ancient within yourself. There's a spark that comes alive when your heart races, your breath deepens, and your muscles burn. That sensation isn't pain, it's growth. It's your body reminding you that you're capable of more than you think. Physical strength creates mental strength, because every time you push past your limit, you teach your mind that you can endure, that you can adapt, that you can rise. And once your mind believes that, no obstacle outside you can break your spirit. Training your body daily doesn't mean spending hours in the gym or chasing impossible routines. It means showing up every day, doing something that challenges your comfort. It can be a morning walk that clears your mind, a set of push-ups that tests your consistency, or a stretching session that improves your focus. What matters is the discipline, the daily reminder that your body is not to be neglected. Every small action compounds into strength over time. You might not see it in a week, but you'll feel it in your posture, your confidence, and your energy to face each day. The mind and body are deeply connected. When your body is sluggish, your thoughts slow down. When your posture collapses, your confidence follows. When you ignore your physical health, your emotional stability starts to erode. The reverse is also true. Move your body with intention, and your mind clears. Stand tall, and your confidence rises. Breathe deeply, and your anxiety fades. The more you move, the more alive you become. Training is not just about appearance, it's about energy, control and clarity. Each time you train, you're not only improving your endurance, you're teaching yourself how to endure life. The resistance you feel in your muscles mirrors the resistance you face in challenges. When you lift a weight, you're fighting against gravity. When you face hardship, you're fighting against doubt. Both battles demand the same qualities: patience, consistency, and the will to keep going. A disciplined body trains the mind to persist, and persistence, not motivation, is what carries you through hard times. There will be days when your body feels tired, and your mind says, skip it. Those are the days that define you. Because anyone can train when it's easy, but only the strong show up when it's hard. The moment you push yourself to move despite fatigue or excuses, you strengthen something far more important than your muscles. You strengthen your spirit. That inner voice that tells you, I can still do this, becomes louder, and that voice will not only guide your workouts, it will guide your life. Physical training also sharpens focus. When you train, you practice control. You learn how to breathe through discomfort, how to stay centered under strain, how to stay patient through progress. These skills don't just stay in the gym, they follow you into your work, your relationships, and your goals. Training your body daily trains your ability to stay present and composed. When you learn to push through a tough set, you also learn to push through a tough day. When you discipline your body, your mind starts following that same order. Neglecting your body is neglecting your potential. So many people lose themselves in daily routines, sitting for hours, eating mindlessly, and wondering why they feel drained. They don't realize their body is begging for movement, for life, for attention. You don't need perfection, you need consistency. 10 minutes of focused exercise every day can change the way you think, move, and feel. It resets your energy, strengthens your heart, and builds momentum. You become sharper, faster, and more aware, and soon, your body starts reflecting the strength of your spirit. As you train your body, pay attention to your form, your breath, your posture. Every movement is an opportunity to connect your mind to your body. When you move with awareness, your training becomes meditation. You stop escaping your body and start inhabiting it fully. You learn to respect its limits, yet push them intelligently. You start listening to it, not ignoring it until it breaks. This awareness builds emotional balance and physical power at the same time. A strong body without self-awareness is just muscle, but a strong body guided by discipline and consciousness becomes a weapon for life. The connection between physical strength and inner power goes beyond fitness. It shapes character. When you train consistently, you start developing trust in yourself. You prove, through action, that you can keep promises to yourself. That trust builds self-respect, and self-respect builds confidence. You no longer rely on external validation because you know you are showing up for yourself. This quiet confidence is what creates warriors. It's not loud, not arrogant, but solid. Your body also holds emotions. Stress, anger, sadness, all of it gets stored physically. When you train, you release that tension. You clear your system, allowing your mind to breathe again. That's why, after a hard workout, even when you're physically tired, you feel lighter. Movement transforms emotional energy into strength. It helps you reset, recharge, and return to your life with clarity. The more you move, the more resilient you become emotionally and mentally. Daily training builds momentum, and momentum builds transformation. Every workout, every run, every stretch adds to your internal bank of strength. You become someone who no longer waits for motivation, because you've built the habit of discipline. You move because it's who you are. The body that once resisted now craves the challenge. The same way your mind starts craving progress when you feed it growth. You begin to realize that the limits you once believed in were only temporary barriers built by laziness and doubt. The transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it happens daily. Each session you complete is a message to yourself. I am capable, I am committed, I am strong. That message shapes your identity. And soon, you start walking differently. Not with arrogance, but with quiet assurance. You move through the world knowing that you are stronger than you were yesterday. That awareness changes the way you handle stress, rejection, or fear, because a body trained in consistency doesn't collapse under pressure. It stands tall. Train your body not for appearance, but for power, for stability, for endurance. Your body is your lifelong companion. It carries your dreams, your responsibilities, and your battles. When you take care of it, it rewards you with clarity, resilience, and peace. Every drop of sweat, every deep breath, every repetition you complete, it all adds up to a stronger life. The more you train your body, the more you realize that discipline and strength are not about perfection, they're about progress. The warrior's path is not about building the biggest muscles or running the fastest mile. It's about building control over yourself. One movement at a time. You don't train to impress. You train to express your inner power. So rise every morning with one simple mission. Move. Move your body, move your energy, move your life forward. Because motion creates momentum, and momentum creates mastery. A strong body gives birth to a strong mind, and when both are aligned, you become unstoppable. When you train your body daily, you don't just get stronger, you build the foundation of the warrior you were meant to be. Chapter 6. Cut off excuses and replace them with solid action. Excuses are the chains that keep potential locked inside people who were born to be great. The truth is simple. Your life changes the moment you stop justifying why you can't and start proving that you can. Every excuse you've ever told yourself was nothing more than a comfortable lie designed to protect you from discomfort, failure, or effort. But comfort never built strength, and excuses never built warriors. You either find a reason to move or a reason to stay still. One leads to growth, the other leads to regret. When you strip away all the noise, success comes down to one thing: action. The people who achieve what others only dream of aren't smarter, luckier, or more gifted. They've just learned to silence the voice of hesitation. They've stopped negotiating with their weaknesses. They've decided that excuses are no longer welcome in their minds. That decision alone separates those who talk about change from those who live it. Every excuse begins with fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of failing, fear of judgment. But here's the truth: fear isn't the enemy. Inaction is. Fear is a signal that you're stepping into something meaningful. Excuses disguise that fear and make it sound reasonable. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start when things settle down. These phrases feel harmless, but they slowly eat away at your potential. Every time you use one, you reinforce weakness, and with each repetition, your mind starts believing it. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who never feel doubt or fear. They're the ones who take action anyway. They understand that progress doesn't wait for perfect conditions. You don't need motivation to start. You need commitment. Motivation fades, but commitment carries you through the days when everything feels heavy. When you stop making excuses, your entire life starts aligning with forward motion. The problem with excuses is that they give you short-term comfort and long-term pain. You feel relieved in the moment when you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," but that relief turns into frustration when you realize tomorrow never comes. Days become weeks, weeks become years, and eventually you're left wondering where your potential went. The truth hurts, but it also heals. The day you stop lying to yourself about why you haven't taken action is the day your life begins to shift. Action is the cure for excuses. When you start moving, the noise in your head gets quieter. You realize that the obstacle you feared wasn't as big as your imagination made it. Every time you act despite doubt, you build momentum. Momentum builds confidence, and confidence builds identity. Soon, taking action becomes part of who you are, not something you have to force. But it starts with that first uncomfortable step, the moment you stop waiting and start doing. Excuses often sound logical, but they are always emotional. You say you're too busy, but you find time to scroll on your phone. You say you don't have energy, but your lack of movement drains it further. You say you don't have support, but you haven't taken the first step alone. The truth is, every excuse has a solution, but only if you're honest enough to look for it. People who change their lives aren't those who have no barriers, they're those who refuse to let barriers become their story. You can't build a strong life on weak habits. Excuses are built on habits of avoidance, avoiding pain, avoiding responsibility, avoiding growth. The mind becomes addicted to avoiding effort. To break that pattern, you must create a new addiction: progress. Replace every excuse with action, even small ones. If you say you don't have time to work out, do 5 minutes instead of none. If you say you're not ready to start a project, begin with one small task. Action doesn't need to be big, it just needs to be real, because real action kills excuses faster than any motivational speech ever could. Your future self is shaped by what you choose today. If you keep feeding excuses, your future becomes filled with regret. But if you feed action, your future becomes filled with pride. Imagine looking back in 10 years, knowing that you showed up every day, even when it was hard. That kind of satisfaction can't be bought. It's earned through consistent, small choices that prove you take ownership of your life. When you catch yourself making excuses, pause and ask one question: what can I do right now? Not tomorrow, not later. Now. That single question cuts through all mental noise. It forces your mind to think in solutions, not problems. Over time, that habit transforms you into someone unstoppable. The moment your brain starts to invent reasons to wait, interrupt it with action. Move before your doubts grow stronger. Act before your comfort talks you out of it. Excuses thrive in hesitation. The longer you think about something, the more reasons you'll create to avoid it. The people who achieve extraordinary results don't overthink, they execute. They don't ask for perfect timing, they create it. They don't need to feel ready, they simply begin. You don't need to know how everything will unfold. You only need to take the next right step. The rest reveals itself through motion. Cutting off excuses also means holding yourself accountable. Stop blaming circumstances, people, or luck for what you haven't done. Life isn't fair. It never was, and it never will be. But fairness doesn't determine success. Focus does. The more you waste time complaining about what's unfair, the less energy you have to change your reality. Accept full ownership of your situation. Even if something isn't your fault, it's still your responsibility to rise from it. That's how strength is built, through radical accountability. Replacing excuses with action doesn't just improve your results, it reshapes your identity. You start to see yourself as someone reliable, someone capable, someone who does what needs to be done no matter what. That identity creates a loop of confidence. You trust yourself more because you've proven through action that your word means something. Each time you choose discipline over delay, you reinforce that power. Action also eliminates fear. Most people sit in anxiety because they think too much. and do too little. The mind creates endless scenarios, most of which never happen. But once you take action, your focus shifts from fear to progress. You stop worrying and start solving. You stop hesitating and start creating. The energy that once fed your excuses now fuels your results. Some people wait for motivation, but warriors create it through motion. You don't wake up every day feeling like taking massive action. That's not how growth works. You act first, and motivation follows. The more consistent you become, the less your emotions control your productivity. You stop waiting to feel ready, because readiness is a trap. You become ready through doing, not thinking. The truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one will do the work for you, wake you up early, or push you when you stop moving. You are your own savior, your own engine, your own driver. The world respects people who take ownership, who move when others hesitate. Every action you take is a statement to the universe that you are serious about your growth. Every excuse you make is a signal that you are still waiting for permission. Stop waiting. The door is already open. You just have to walk through it. When you decide that excuses are no longer part of your vocabulary, life becomes simpler. There's no maybe, no someday, only now. You start respecting your own word. You stop promising things you don't deliver. You become reliable to yourself, and that reliability builds momentum. Momentum builds consistency, and consistency builds success. Every warrior has a choice each morning to rise with action or sleep under excuses. The difference between a life of strength and a life of struggle is found in that decision. You have the power to move, to start, to act. You don't need more time. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to begin. Cut off excuses and replace them with movement, with decisions, with courage. Because once you take full control, once you stop hiding behind reasons, the world has no choice but to respect your effort. Action speaks a language no excuse ever can. And when you live in action, you live in truth, because truth is movement, growth and strength. Every day you act, you prove to yourself that nothing can stop you except you. That's when you truly become unstoppable. Chapter 7. Surround yourself with people who challenge your growth. If you want to grow beyond the limits of who you are today, you must stop surrounding yourself with comfort and start surrounding yourself with challenge. Growth never happens in stillness. It happens when you stand among people who push you higher, who question your excuses, who remind you that you can be better than your last version. Look around your life right now. Your circle either pulls you forward or holds you down. There's no middle ground. The truth is, we become the average of the people we spend the most time with. If you're surrounded by those who settle, you'll slowly learn to settle too. But when you walk with those who expect more from themselves, you begin to raise your standards without even realizing it. Their drive becomes your mirror. Their hunger wakes something inside you that comfort can never give. Many people fear outgrowing their circle because they don't want to seem arrogant or detached. But choosing growth is not arrogance, it's self-respect. You are not required to shrink so that others can stay comfortable. You are allowed to evolve, even if it makes people uncomfortable. The more you grow, the more your energy changes. And when your energy changes, not everyone will be able to handle it. Some will misunderstand you, some will call you distant, some will say you've changed, and they'll be right. Because growth demands change. You cannot stay the same and expect to become someone new. If the people around you don't challenge your thinking, question your laziness, or remind you of your potential, they're not part of your future. They're part of your past. To build a life of strength, surround yourself with people who inspire discipline, not excuses. Find the ones who are not impressed by your words, but by your consistency. The ones who push you to rise when you want to rest. The ones who call you out when you stop believing in yourself. A true friend is not the one who comforts your weakness, but the one who helps you destroy it. When you walk beside people who live with purpose, your mindset starts to shift. You stop wasting time on gossip, on fear, on hesitation. You begin to crave progress, clarity and focus. It's not about competition, it's about elevation. You start seeing how far you can go when you no longer settle for mediocrity. Every great person in history had a circle that demanded more from them. Warriors train with warriors. Leaders learn from leaders. Thinkers grow around thinkers, because growth happens through reflection and friction. The wrong people will drain your fire. The right people will feed it. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you feel inspired or drained, energized or empty, encouraged or uncertain? That's how you know who belongs in your life and who doesn't. Your circle is either a source of growth or a source of decay, and protecting your environment is protecting your destiny. Sometimes you'll have to walk alone for a while before you meet the people who truly align with your growth. Don't rush that process. Solitude can be powerful if you use it to sharpen your mind and strengthen your vision. When you walk alone, you learn what you stand for. You learn to stop depending on approval. You learn that growth doesn't always need company, it just needs direction. Once you know who you are, you'll attract the right kind of people naturally, because people operating on the same frequency find each other. Strong attracts strong, purpose attracts purpose. When you're committed to evolving, the universe sends you those who are doing the same. The people who challenge you the most are not your enemies, they're your hidden blessings. The mentor who doesn't let you quit. The friend who tells you uncomfortable truths. The competitor who shows you what's possible. These are the people who help you rise. Learn to value feedback, not just praise. Praise makes you feel good, but feedback makes you grow. Growth is uncomfortable because it forces you to see parts of yourself that need work. But when someone points that out, they're giving you a chance to improve. Don't reject correction from people who care about your success. Embrace it. It's a sign that they see more in you than you see in yourself. In life, you'll meet three kinds of people: those who inspire you, those who use you, and those who waste your time. Choose wisely. The ones who inspire you will make you better without even trying. They live with integrity, discipline, and consistency, and being around them makes you want to step up. The ones who use you will drain your energy and leave you empty. The ones who waste your time will distract you from your path with meaningless talk and small goals. Cut off those connections gracefully but firmly. You don't need to argue or explain, just outgrow them quietly. Your results will speak for themselves. Surrounding yourself with challenges doesn't mean seeking conflict. It means seeking excellence. You want people who tell you you can do better, not because they're criticizing you, but because they believe you can. They hold you accountable when you slack off and celebrate you when you rise. They remind you that your dreams are valid, but your effort must match them. That's the kind of circle that breeds growth. A group of individuals focused on building, not complaining. When you surround yourself with high-energy, goal-oriented people, your habits shift naturally. You stop seeking validation and start seeking progress. You stop saying someday and start acting today. The company you keep determines the direction of your thoughts. The direction of your thoughts determines the quality of your actions, and the quality of your actions determines the strength of your results. Change your circle, and you change your life. The moment you decide that you deserve more, your environment will start to change. It might feel lonely at first, But that loneliness is just the space where new energy is being built. Stay patient, keep working, keep your standards high. Don't settle for friends who only show up for the easy moments. Surround yourself with people who stay when it's hard, who encourage you when you doubt yourself, and who remind you to keep going when life tests your patience. Those are your real allies, the ones who don't just see who you are but who you're becoming. So from this moment forward, choose your circle wisely. Don't just look for people who make you feel good. Look for those who make you grow. Be around the ones who challenge your limits, not your purpose. You owe it to yourself to protect your energy, your peace, and your future. Growth is not for everyone, but if you want to become unshakable, if you want to transform from weakness to warrior, you must surround yourself with warriors, not those who fear the fire, but those who walk through it with you. That's how you grow. That's how you rise. That's how you win. Chapter 8. Set clear goals and fight until you achieve them. Every great victory begins with a clear target. You can't fight for what you can't see. Life doesn't reward vague wishes. It rewards precise direction. When you set a clear goal, you give your energy a destination, your focus a purpose, and your actions a reason. Most people drift through life reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. They chase what's easy, not what's meaningful. But the moment you decide what you truly want and refuse to quit until it's yours, you begin to move differently. You stop wasting time. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop living on autopilot. You wake up with intent. A goal gives you a reason to rise when your body feels heavy and your mind whispers excuses. It keeps you grounded when doubt tries to pull you back into old patterns. Without a clear goal, effort becomes scattered, energy becomes wasted, and progress becomes invisible. But when you know your why, even the hardest days have meaning. It's not enough to say, "I want success." You must define it, what kind, by when, and how you'll get there. The clearer your reason, the stronger your determination becomes. A goal without clarity is just a dream, but a goal with a plan becomes a weapon. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack persistence. They start strong and stop at the first setback. They expect fast results and give up when progress slows. But true warriors know that achieving a goal isn't about speed, it's about endurance. You must fight for it daily, especially when it feels far away. Every struggle, every rejection, every failure is part of the path. Goals are not won by those who get lucky. They are won by those who refuse to quit. When others rest, you push. When others complain, you adapt. When others doubt, you keep going. That's how goals are achieved, not by chance, but by relentless effort. The process of chasing a goal will test everything you are. It will expose your weaknesses, your impatience, and your fears. But that's exactly why it's valuable. You can't build strength without resistance. Every obstacle is a lesson disguised as difficulty. Every failure is feedback, not finality. When something doesn't go as planned, it doesn't mean you're losing. It means you're learning what doesn't work. The ones who win are the ones who learn fast, adjust quickly, and keep fighting. The goal is not just about reaching the finish line, it's about becoming the kind of person capable of reaching it. Clarity and consistency are your allies. Don't just write your goals. Study them, visualize them, and live by them. Wake up every day knowing what matters most. Remove distractions that don't serve your purpose. Every hour spent on the wrong thing steals time from the right thing. Discipline means saying no to what doesn't align with your vision. And that's not sacrifice, that's focus. People may not understand your obsession. They may call you too serious or too ambitious, but let them talk. The truth is, you're not chasing approval, you're chasing progress. Let your results speak louder than their doubts. When you set a goal, you must also prepare for battle, because success isn't handed. It's earned through consistent struggle. You'll face moments when everything feels impossible, when progress is invisible, and when quitting seems easier. But those are the moments that separate the average from the great. When your body wants to stop, your mind must take command. Remind yourself why you started. Remember what's at stake. You've come too far to back down now. There's no reward for almost trying, only for finishing strong. Every day is another chance to prove to yourself that you are built for this. Goals also require flexibility. Life won't always go as planned. Unexpected detours, delays, and difficulties will appear, but the goal remains the same, even if the path changes. Adjust your methods, but never your mission. Sometimes, what looks like failure is simply redirection. Stay open, stay resilient, stay adaptable. The key is to keep moving forward, no matter how slow it feels. Progress is progress, and consistency compounds. The more days you show up, the more unstoppable you become. There will be times when no one claps for you. No one notices your effort. No one believes in your vision. That's when you must become your own motivation. Champions don't rely on external validation. They build inner fire. You can't wait for the world to push you. You must push yourself. Remind yourself daily of the promise you made when you set that goal. You promised to see it through, no matter how long it takes. You promised to rise every time you fell. Keep that promise, because that's what defines character. The ability to stay loyal to your purpose long after the mood in which you set it has faded. Don't fear slow progress. Fear standing still. Every small step forward is another brick in the foundation of your success. You may not see the results immediately, but they are accumulating beneath the surface. The difference between winners and quitters is that winners stay when it's boring, stay when it's hard, stay when no one is watching. They fight quietly until the noise of their success becomes impossible to ignore. Your goal doesn't care how you feel today, it only responds to what you do. So act, move, build. The secret is to treat your goals like oxygen, non-negotiable. You don't breathe only when it's easy, you breathe because you must. The same goes for your dream. Whether you're tired, broke, or doubting, keep working. Even when motivation disappears, let discipline take over. Emotion fades, commitment lasts. A strong goal doesn't ask for perfect days. It demands consistent effort through imperfect ones. That's how transformation happens, one relentless day at a time. You owe it to yourself to finish what you start. Half-finished efforts build regret, but completed goals build confidence. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. And once you trust yourself, no challenge can intimidate you. You stop hoping for things to happen and start making them happen. You stop chasing shortcuts and start mastering patience. And when you finally achieve your goal, it's not just about the result, it's about the person you became to reach it. So set your goals clearly, commit to them fully, fight for them daily. Don't let fear, failure, or fatigue stop you. Every time you want to quit, remind yourself someone with less talent, fewer resources, and more obstacles is still fighting for theirs. You have everything it takes, you just need to keep going until your dream becomes your reality. Because when you refuse to give up, the world eventually gives in, and that's how warriors win. Not by luck, not by chance, but by pure, unbreakable persistence. Chapter 9. Turn pain into purpose through focused hard work. Pain is not your enemy, It's the silent teacher that shapes your strength. Every wound you've ever carried, every disappointment you've endured, every sleepless night you've faced has given you something that comfort never could: depth, resilience, and wisdom. The problem is, most people spend their lives running from pain instead of learning from it. They numb it, hide from it, or let it harden them. But the real power comes when you take that pain and use it as fuel for something greater. When you stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Watch me," you begin to transform suffering into strength. Life doesn't spare anyone. At some point, you'll lose something, someone, or a part of yourself you thought you couldn't live without. But those moments, as heavy as they feel, are the birthplaces of purpose. The same fire that burns can also forge you into something unbreakable if you face it head-on. Pain gives you two options. It can destroy you, or it can drive you. The choice is yours. You can let it keep you stuck, repeating the same story of hurt, or you can turn it into the reason you rise higher than you ever have before. When you channel your pain into focused hard work, it stops being a wound. It becomes a weapon. Every person who has built greatness has done it through some kind of suffering. The difference is they refused to let pain define them. Instead, they turned it into motion. They used the energy that came from hurt and disappointment to build something meaningful. That's the secret. Pain gives you energy, but it's raw, chaotic, and heavy. You must learn to direct it, to shape it into effort, discipline, and growth. You don't heal by waiting, you heal by working. When your hands are busy building your future, your mind stops replaying your past. The truth is, there's no progress without pressure. Diamonds form under it, muscles grow because of it, character is built through it. Every time life knocks you down, it's asking one question: how much can you take and still move forward? Most give up at the first sign of discomfort because they mistake pain for punishment. But pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's teaching you how to endure, how to focus, how to build strength that can't be broken by small problems. The more you've been through, the stronger you can become if you choose to learn instead of complain. Focused hard work is how you give pain direction. Instead of letting it crush you, you make it build you. When you commit yourself to something bigger than your suffering, the pain starts to lose its power. You start to understand that everything that hurt you was meant to awaken you. Every tear taught you empathy. Every failure gave you wisdom. Every betrayal revealed truth. These lessons are the foundation of your purpose, and your job is to use them, not bury them. Don't run from the past. Rebuild yourself with it. The key is focus. Pain scatters your thoughts. It makes you want to escape. But when you direct that emotional energy toward hard work, you begin to regain control. Discipline becomes your anchor. When emotions want to drown you, focused effort keeps you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. You may not be able to control what happened to you, but you can control what you do next. And that's where your power lies, in your response, in your ability to take control of your story and write the next chapter with intention. Sometimes, the only way to survive pain is to give it meaning. You can't always explain it, but you can always use it. If your heart was broken, use that empathy to connect deeply with others. If you were betrayed, let it teach you discernment. If you lost something valuable, let it remind you to appreciate what remains. Pain can either close you off or open you up. The difference is whether you decide to stay bitter or become better. Turning pain into purpose means you refuse to let it go to waste. Every tear, every scar, every moment of despair becomes part of the foundation that carries you forward. Working hard through pain is not about ignoring it. It's about integrating it into your growth. It's about saying, "This hurt me, but it will not define me." You can cry and still work. You can grieve and still grow. You can be wounded and still move forward. Strength is not the absence of emotion. It's the ability to act in spite of it. Every time you show up for yourself when it's hard, you build a new layer of inner power. That's how warriors are made, not in comfort, but in chaos. The process will test you. Some days you'll feel strong, and other days you'll feel like giving up. But that's part of the transformation. You can't reach purpose without first walking through pain. You'll have to confront old memories, face hard truths, and work harder than ever before. But on the other side of that process, something incredible happens. The pain that once broke you starts to become the reason you're unshakable. You begin to realize that your scars aren't signs of weakness, they're symbols of survival. They show that you've been through battles most people would have run from, and you're still here, stronger than ever. Purpose gives pain a destination. It turns meaningless suffering into growth. When you focus your hard work on something that matters deeply to you, your pain becomes productive. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" That shift changes everything. You no longer see life as something happening to you, but something happening for you. The more you work, the more you heal. Every step forward proves to you that the pain didn't win. You did. The most powerful people are those who've suffered deeply and kept moving forward with integrity and intention. They didn't let bitterness harden them. They didn't let fear silence them. They didn't let pain paralyze them. They took all that hurt, all that frustration, and turned it into something meaningful: art, business, leadership, compassion, discipline. That's what true strength looks like, using your wounds as wisdom instead of walls. If you want to turn your pain into purpose, start by giving it direction. Write down what hurt you, what it taught you, and how you'll use it. Channel your emotions into consistent action, something that builds you. Whether it's improving your health, learning a new skill, or helping others, give your energy a mission. The moment your pain finds purpose, it starts to lose control over you. You were not meant to break. You were meant to rise. Pain was never sent to stop you. It was sent to sculpt you. Let it refine your focus, fuel your drive, and remind you of your strength. Keep working. Keep showing up. Every hour you invest, every action you take, every moment you push through the ache is transforming you into the warrior you're meant to be. One day, you'll look back and realize that your greatest pain became your greatest power, and every hardship you faced was preparing you for the purpose you were always meant to fulfill. Chapter 10. Wake up early and take control of your mornings. The morning is your first victory of the day. How you spend those early hours determines who you become, how you think, and how far you go. When you wake up early, you claim power over your time, your focus, and your life. Most people start their day already behind, rushing, distracted, and reactive, but the warrior rises before the world stirs, calm and clear, setting intention before chaos begins. That quiet hour before the noise is where you shape your direction, strengthen your discipline, and align yourself with purpose. Winning the morning is how you win the day. There's something sacred about early mornings. The world is still, the air feels clean, and your mind hasn't yet been polluted by noise or distraction. In those hours, your thoughts are sharp, your energy is fresh, and your spirit is open to clarity. Waking early is not about punishment. It's about preparation. It's about training your mind to lead, not follow. You start your day on your own terms rather than letting it be controlled by demands, messages, or obligations. When you own your morning, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. Discipline begins with the first decision of the day, the choice to rise. When that alarm rings, It's more than just a sound, it's a test. Will you move or will you postpone your progress? Those extra minutes of comfort cost more than you realize. They rob you of focus, momentum and growth. When you choose to get up, even when you don't feel like it, you're sending a message to yourself that your goals matter more than your excuses. That single act sets the tone for everything that follows. It's a declaration that you're in control, not your feelings, not your fatigue, and not your comfort zone. The way you start your morning carries into the rest of your day. If you begin in chaos, the day follows in chaos. But if you begin in structure, clarity, and calm, you carry that power forward. Mornings are when you build momentum. Even simple actions, stretching, reading, reflecting, planning, create a sense of progress before the world wakes. That sense of progress strengthens your self-belief, and when you believe you're in control, you act differently throughout the day. You speak with more confidence, think with more clarity, and move with more purpose. Waking up early also gives you what most people never have. Time. Time to think. Time to plan. Time to breathe before the world starts pulling at you. Most people live constantly reacting, checking phones, replying to messages, rushing into obligations before their mind even wakes. But the warrior starts grounded. They sit with silence, center their thoughts, and prepare their energy. That quiet foundation gives strength for the day's storms. You can't lead a strong life with a scattered mind. Those early hours are where you gather yourself, build focus, and set intention. There's also a sense of pride that comes with rising early. While others are sleeping, you're moving forward. While they're dreaming, you're building. That small victory builds confidence. It reminds you that you're doing what most won't. Success is often built on these quiet moments of self-control. The small, consistent choices that compound over time. When you rise early, you prove that you can command yourself, and the person who can command themselves can command their future. The mind is most clear in the early hours. It's before the noise of the world, before opinions, before stress. It's the best time to feed it with good thoughts, new knowledge, and powerful reflection. Reading, journaling, or meditating early in the morning builds mental strength. It's like sharpening a sword before battle. You're not rushing into the day blindly, you're entering prepared. Those minutes of calm reflection give you direction. You start asking better questions. What matters today? Who do I want to be? What actions align with my purpose? That kind of clarity separates those who drift from those who dominate. Physical energy is also born in the morning. Moving your body early awakens your spirit. It reminds you that you're alive, capable, and in control. A quick workout, a stretch, or even a brisk walk signals to your brain that it's time to perform. It activates discipline. You're not waiting for motivation, you're building it through movement. Every drop of sweat in the morning fuels strength for the rest of the day. When your body feels strong, your mind follows, and a strong body creates a strong presence in every area of your life. People often say they don't have time, but time isn't found, it's made, and the morning is where you make it. Waking up early gives you an advantage most never experience. You gain hours others waste, and those hours used wisely create transformation. You could use them to learn a new skill, reflect on your goals, or plan your next steps. A few quiet hours of focused effort in the morning can accomplish more than an entire day of scattered action. The secret is not doing more, it's doing what matters most, while your energy is at its peak. Waking up early is also about creating emotional balance. When you rush into the day, your stress begins before you even start. But when you rise with time to breathe, you begin grounded. You're no longer reacting to the world, you're leading it. You start your day calm, collected, and clear. That emotional balance becomes your armor. It allows you to handle challenges without being thrown off course. You meet stress with patience and problems with clarity. You move through your day like a leader, not a follower. Success doesn't come from big, dramatic changes. It comes from consistent daily habits. Rising early may seem small, but over time, it changes everything. It builds discipline, focus, and self-respect. It teaches you to value time, to act with intention, and to live with purpose. You begin to realize that control over your life starts with control over your mornings. If you can conquer the first hour of the day, you can conquer the rest. The key is not just waking up early, it's waking up with purpose. Don't just get out of bed. Rise with direction. Have a routine that serves your goals. It might include exercise, reflection, journaling, or learning. What matters most is that you use that time intentionally. Those early hours are your private meeting with greatness. Guard them, protect them, make them count. The more structured your morning becomes, the freer your life feels. You move through the day knowing you've already invested in your growth before the world even started demanding from you. There will be days when it feels hard, when the bed feels heavier, and the mind wants to sleep a little longer. That's the real test. Discipline means doing what's necessary even when it's inconvenient. Every time you push past that resistance, you strengthen your willpower. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Some mornings you'll wake up inspired, others you'll wake up tired. But rise anyway, because each time you do, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than comfort. Early mornings are not just about routine, they're about identity. Every time you rise before the world, you remind yourself that you're not ordinary. You're someone who's willing to do what others avoid. You're building your life with intention hour by hour. The world belongs to those who master their mornings, because mornings create momentum, and momentum creates transformation. So rise early. Move with purpose. Claim those first hours as your time of growth, reflection, and preparation. Build strength in silence while others sleep. Let your mornings be a declaration that you're not waiting for life to happen, you're creating it. When the sun rises, rise with it, and when the world wakes, you'll already be ahead, calm, clear, and ready to lead. Because every morning you master brings you one step closer to mastering yourself, and that is where true power begins. Chapter 11. Speak to yourself with belief and positive conviction. The words you speak to yourself are the foundation of your destiny. Every thought you repeat, every phrase you whisper in your mind becomes a command to your subconscious. If you tell yourself you're weak, your mind will find reasons to make that true. But if you speak with conviction, if you declare that you are capable, disciplined, and strong, your life will begin to shift in ways that reflect that truth. The world responds to the story you tell yourself, and the most powerful story begins when you stop doubting and start affirming the greatness within you. It's not arrogance to believe in yourself. It's responsibility, because if you don't believe in your potential, who will? The people who achieve extraordinary things are not born with special gifts. They simply refuse to speak defeat into their lives. They wake up and say, I can, I will, I must. They program their minds to see opportunity where others see obstacles. Your words are like seeds. Plant fear, and you grow hesitation. Plant belief, and you grow strength. Each morning you have a choice to speak life or speak limitation, and the direction of your life will always follow the sound of your self-talk. When you start speaking with belief, you start thinking differently. Your tone shifts, your body language changes, you walk taller, you breathe deeper, and you face challenges with calm determination instead of panic. The inner dialogue you carry shapes your reactions to everything around you. Tell yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way, and you'll find strength you never knew existed. But tell yourself that life is too hard, that you're too tired or too late to change, and your mind will obey that command. The human brain is a loyal servant. It believes whatever you repeatedly say. That's why it's critical to feed it the right instructions every single day. Speaking to yourself with belief doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. It means refusing to let fear be the loudest voice in your head. When life knocks you down, your self-talk determines whether you rise again or stay defeated. The inner warrior inside you is awakened through words of power. Tell yourself, I am still standing. I'm not done yet. I'm stronger than what tried to break me. These are not just affirmations, they are declarations of identity. Every time you repeat them, your subconscious begins to align your actions with that belief. You begin to act like someone who deserves victory, not like someone waiting for permission to win. Confidence isn't built by external validation, it's built by internal repetition. The more you tell yourself you're capable, the more your mind finds proof to support it. When you say, I'm disciplined, your behavior starts to align with that command. When you say, I'm focused, distractions lose their power over you. But when you constantly say, I can't, or I'm not ready, you program hesitation into your system. Your words become invisible barriers that keep you trapped in self-doubt. To break free, you must change the script. Start speaking the language of winners. Speak like someone who expects success, not someone who hopes for it. Many people sabotage themselves because their inner dialogue is full of negativity. They repeat old failures and call it truth. They replay painful moments and turn them into limits. But your past doesn't define your worth. You are not who you used to be. You are who you decide to become today. So speak to yourself as if you are already the person you're becoming. Say, I'm getting better every day. I'm proud of my progress. I have everything it takes to go further. These statements might feel uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is the resistance of old programming. Keep going until those words become your new normal. Your self-talk is the conversation that never stops. It's the voice you hear in silence, the whisper that follows every decision, the judge that either lifts you up or tears you down. Learn to control that voice. When it criticizes, challenge it. When it doubts, correct it. Replace I can't with I'm learning. Replace it's too hard with I'll grow through it. Over time, this mental discipline will change how you face every challenge. You'll begin to notice that the situations that once drained you now push you to rise higher. That's the power of belief. It transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. Speaking to yourself with conviction also strengthens your focus. When your inner dialogue is positive, your energy doesn't scatter into worry or fear. You channel it toward your goals. You move with direction instead of doubt. This doesn't mean every day will feel perfect. It means that even when you stumble, you'll talk yourself back into motion. You'll replace the words I failed with I learned. You'll replace I'm not enough with I'm improving. That kind of mindset turns you into a force that can't be easily broken. You'll stop waiting for motivation from others, because you'll have built it within yourself. Imagine waking up each morning and hearing your own voice tell you, today I will make progress. Today I will not quit. Today I will rise. Imagine facing setbacks and hearing this is just a test, not a defeat. Over time, those phrases become a shield for your mind. You'll feel less shaken by rejection or criticism because your own words have already grounded you in strength. You'll learn to be your own motivator, your own supporter, and your own leader. That's how warriors are made, not through luck, but through mental conditioning that starts with the way they speak to themselves. The most successful people you admire didn't always feel confident. They just mastered the art of speaking confidence into existence. They talked themselves into taking risks when others stayed safe. They encouraged themselves when no one else believed. They became their own voice of certainty. You can do the same. The next time fear whispers, "You can't," respond with, "Watch me." When your mind says, "You're not ready," answer, "I'm preparing myself." That's how transformation happens, one statement of belief at a time. You become what you repeatedly affirm. So, from now on, pay attention to your words. They're not harmless, they're powerful commands, shaping your future. Every time you look in the mirror, remind yourself of your worth, your strength, and your potential. Don't wait until you achieve success to speak like a winner. Speak like one now, and success will begin to align itself with you. The tone you use with yourself should always reflect the respect you deserve. Talk to yourself with strength. Talk to yourself with certainty. Talk to yourself as someone destined for greatness, because that is exactly who you are becoming. Chapter 12. Break your limits by doing one hard thing daily. Every day you wake up, life gives you two choices: to stay comfortable or to grow stronger. And every time you choose comfort, you choose to stay the same. But every time you choose to do something hard, something that scares you, something that demands more effort than you feel ready to give, that's when you start breaking your limits. Growth doesn't come from what's easy. Growth comes from the daily decision to push through discomfort and face what you once thought you couldn't handle. If you truly want to evolve, stop chasing convenience. Do something that challenges your spirit, your patience, and your willpower every single day. When you train your mind to embrace difficulty, you stop running from life and start mastering it. The goal isn't to live without challenges. The goal is to become the kind of person who faces them with calm strength. That power doesn't come overnight. It's built one hard thing at a time, through early mornings when you want to sleep in, workouts when you feel exhausted, conversations when you'd rather stay silent, and effort when your body and mind both beg you to quit. The problem with most people is they wait for the perfect moment to do hard things. They wait for motivation, for energy, for clarity. But motivation fades. The only way to strengthen your mindset is through action, especially when it's uncomfortable. Every hard thing you do becomes a small victory that rewires your brain for strength. You start realizing that fear is temporary, but pride lasts forever. The moment you complete a challenge you thought you couldn't handle, your entire self-image begins to expand. You start saying, "If I can do that, what else can I do?" That's how real confidence is born, not from comfort, but from conquering resistance. Most people avoid hard things because they associate them with pain. But what they don't see is that pain is the very process that turns weakness into resilience. Every time you push past what's familiar, you're teaching your mind that pressure isn't a threat, it's an opportunity. Think about it. Growth never happens in safety. It happens when you stretch, when you sweat, when you fail and rise again. If you can do one hard thing every day, something that tests your limits, you'll start realizing how powerful you truly are. The key is consistency, not perfection. One hard thing every single day. That's how you become unstoppable. The secret to success isn't found in talent or luck. It's found in discipline and grit. When you do hard things daily, you stop waiting for an easier path because you realize there isn't one. Every step forward requires friction. Every victory demands sacrifice. The people who seem fearless aren't without fear. They've just learned to act despite it. When you challenge yourself intentionally, you build a habit of courage. It becomes normal to push through fatigue, to take the uncomfortable path, to resist the urge to quit. Before long, you start craving difficulty because you've learned that's where transformation hides. Doing one hard thing daily doesn't have to mean something extreme. It just has to be something that forces you to stretch. For some, that might mean facing an awkward conversation instead of avoiding it. For others, it might mean turning off distractions and focusing deeply on their craft. It might mean waking up earlier, working out longer, studying harder, or saying no to something tempting but meaningless. The point is to challenge your comfort zone deliberately, because every time you do, your brain learns that you're in control, not your excuses, not your fears, not your moods. You are. Think about how different your life would be if you made this your rule. Every day I do one thing that scares me, one thing that challenges me, one thing that makes me stronger. After a week, you'll feel more confident. After a month, more disciplined. After a year, unrecognizable. You won't need to tell people you've changed. They'll feel it in your presence. The quiet power that comes from daily struggle is unmatched. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's built quietly through repetition, through moments where no one is watching, and you still choose to do the hard thing anyway. What makes this practice so powerful is that it builds momentum. Every small act of courage compounds over time. You begin to trust yourself on a deeper level because you have daily proof that you can rely on your own strength. That kind of trust is rare. Most people doubt themselves because they rarely follow through on what they say they'll do. But when you face something hard every day, you prove to yourself that your word means something. You stop waiting for external validation because your actions speak for you. That's what separates those who dream from those who do. The willingness to struggle intentionally. The truth is, the life you want exists on the other side of difficulty. You can't wish your way there. You have to earn it. You have to sweat for it, sacrifice for it, and face yourself honestly. Each day you skip the hard thing, your dreams drift further away. Each day you face it, you close the gap. Progress doesn't come from massive leaps. It comes from small, consistent acts of discipline that build inner strength. When you train your body, your mind, and your spirit to embrace challenge, you'll start seeing limits not as walls but as checkpoints, signals that you're growing. You might wonder, what if I fail? You will. That's part of the process. Failure is not the end. It's a sign that you're aiming high enough. Doing one hard thing daily teaches you how to handle setbacks without breaking. You learn to adapt, to analyze, to adjust, and to rise again. You realize that pain is feedback, not punishment. It's telling you where to improve. And once you stop fearing that feedback, nothing can stop you, because when you stop running from difficulty, you stop being controlled by it. So, tomorrow when you wake up, ask yourself, what's one hard thing I can do today that will make me stronger? Then do it, no matter how small, no matter how uncomfortable. It could be finishing a task you've been avoiding, sticking to your plan when you'd rather give up, or speaking your truth when silence feels safer. Do it, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. The warrior within you is shaped through these moments. Strength doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's built through the discipline of daily challenge. Your limits aren't fixed. They expand every time you push against them. The person you are today is not your final version. It's just your starting point. Every act of courage, every difficult decision, every hard task compounds into a mindset that refuses to settle. And one day, you'll look back and realize that what once felt impossible now feels routine. That's the reward of doing one hard thing daily. You'll no longer fear what's difficult. You'll welcome it, because it's the forge where your greatest self is created. So push, struggle, grow, and remember, the harder it feels, the stronger you're becoming. Chapter 13. Learn from failure and use it to grow stronger. Failure is not the end of your story, it's the very beginning of your strength. Every time you fall, the universe isn't closing a door on you, it's revealing what still needs to be built within you. The people who rise highest in life are not the ones who never fail, they're the ones who refuse to let failure define them. When you learn how to face defeat without losing your fire, you become unstoppable. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. Every disappointment a new lesson. Every mistake a teacher disguised as pain. The truth is, failure isn't there to destroy you, it's there to develop you. The moment you fail, your mind starts talking. It tells you to give up, that you're not enough, that maybe you were never meant to succeed. That voice is not your truth. It's your fear. It's the echo of your past conditioning, trying to protect you from discomfort. But if you give in to it, you'll spend your whole life playing small, safe, and scared. Failure becomes a gift the moment you stop running from it and start asking, what can I learn from this? That single question turns pain into wisdom, confusion into clarity, and regret into purpose. Growth begins the moment you take ownership of what went wrong, instead of blaming what's outside of you. Every successful person you admire carries a trail of failures behind them. They've been rejected, underestimated, and knocked down countless times. What separates them is how they responded. They didn't waste energy on self-pity or comparison. They studied their mistakes, adjusted their strategy, and kept moving forward. They saw failure not as a verdict, but as valuable feedback. That's what you must do too. Treat every setback like a mentor. Analyze what went wrong. Be brutally honest with yourself. Then use that information as fuel. The world doesn't reward perfection, it rewards resilience. The more you fail, the stronger your foundation becomes, because each failure builds your understanding of how to rise. There's a kind of strength that only failure can teach you. Success feels good, but it doesn't build much character. Failure, on the other hand, humbles you. It strips away your illusions, tests your patience, and forces you to look deeper within. It teaches you where you're weak, but it also reveals where you're unbreakable. You start learning that your value doesn't depend on outcomes. It depends on effort, on persistence, on the courage to keep showing up after things fall apart. When you stop fearing failure, you start acting with true freedom, because nothing anyone says or does can shake you anymore. You've already faced loss and survived it. You will fail in life again and again, and that's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to expect, to embrace, to learn from. Failure is part of the process of mastery. It's how you learn the timing, the patience, and the strategy that success demands. Without failure, you would stay naive, thinking strength comes from luck. But strength is born in correction. Every failure you experience refines your decision-making, your discipline, and your humility. Those are the qualities that create real power. And the deeper the failure, the more meaningful the growth. If you're willing to face it without bitterness, when failure hits, your emotions will try to take over. You'll feel angry, embarrassed, or defeated. That's normal. Feel it, but don't dwell there. Let the emotion move through you, then use it as energy to rebuild. The mistake most people make is getting stuck in the story of failure instead of moving forward from it. They replay it in their minds until it becomes part of their identity. Don't do that. You are not your failures. You are what you choose to do after them. The most powerful move you can make is to rise quietly and start again. Let your actions speak louder than your frustration. Every time you rebuild after failure, you're crafting a version of yourself that's harder to break. There's a mental toughness that grows inside you when you learn from what went wrong instead of hiding from it. You start seeing patterns, your blind spots, your emotional triggers, your weaknesses. This awareness is priceless, Because it gives you control. You can't fix what you refuse to face. When you study your failures honestly, you gain insight that success alone can never teach. You start approaching life with more wisdom, less ego, and deeper focus. Failure doesn't make you less capable, it makes you more aware. And awareness is what separates those who repeat their mistakes from those who rise above them. Sometimes failure comes not because you did something wrong, but because life needed to slow you down. Maybe it wasn't your time yet. Maybe there were lessons you weren't ready to see. Maybe that failure was protection in disguise, redirecting you towards something better. You won't always see it immediately. But later, when things align, you'll understand why that door had to close. Perspective comes with time and reflection. That's why it's essential to stay patient after a loss. Don't rush to replace your pain with distraction. Sit with it, study it, and ask what it's trying to show you. The lessons buried in failure are often the ones that shape your destiny. When you learn to see failure as part of the path, it loses its power to paralyze you. You stop fearing it, and that's when you start taking bold actions. You apply for the opportunity, you take the risk, you speak up, you try again, because you know that even if you fail, you'll grow. That mindset is what separates warriors from warriors. Warriors see failure as training. Warriors see it as evidence that they should quit. But the truth is, quitting is the only real failure. Everything else is feedback. As long as you keep showing up, you're evolving. As long as you keep learning, you're never truly losing. Think about the strongest people you've ever met. Their strength didn't come from comfort. It came from scars. They've faced loss, betrayal, rejection, and disappointment. Yet they still chose to rise. That kind of strength is built in silence, behind closed doors, in moments when no one believes in you, when you have to believe in yourself just to keep going. Every failure adds a layer to that strength. Each time you survive something that should have broken you, your confidence grows, not the loud, boastful kind, but a deep, unshakable calm that comes from knowing you can handle whatever comes next. So, the next time you fail, don't run from it. Don't cover it up or pretend it didn't happen. Face it head on. Study it, learn from it, and use it to rise. Let failure teach you what success never could: humility, patience, adaptability, and resilience. These qualities don't fade with time, they compound, and over the years, they'll become your greatest advantage. Every warrior knows that defeat is temporary, but quitting is permanent. You weren't born to quit. You were born to fall, learn, and come back sharper. So take your failures, polish them into wisdom, and let them fuel your next victory. Because in the end, it's not the number of times you've fallen that defines you, it's how many times you've chosen to rise. Chapter 14. Protect your energy and guard your mental space. Your energy is your life's currency. Every thought, every emotion, every action you take spends a part of it. The truth is, you can't build a strong life if you keep giving your energy to things that drain you. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's survival. It's the foundation of focus, peace, and growth. The world will constantly try to pull your attention toward noise, negativity, and chaos. But if you want to rise, you must learn how to stand guard at the door of your mind. What you allow in shapes how you think, how you feel, and ultimately, who you become. Every day you wake up, you're given a limited amount of mental power. How you spend it determines the quality of your life. Yet, most people waste it worrying about things they can't control, arguing with people who don't matter, or chasing approval that gives them nothing in return. They wonder why they feel empty, anxious, or uninspired, not realizing they've allowed others to feed on their peace. The first step to protecting your energy is awareness. You must recognize what drains you and what fuels you. The second step is courage. The courage to say no, to walk away, and to put yourself first when your spirit feels heavy. You can't be at your best if you're constantly surrounded by chaos. Energy is contagious. Spend enough time around negative people, and you'll start thinking like them. Stay too long in toxic environments, and you'll start losing sight of who you are. Guarding your mental space means being intentional about who and what you allow to influence you. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. Some people only bring distraction, doubt, or drama, and the more you entertain it, the weaker your focus becomes. You don't need to hate them. Just create space between you and their chaos. Silence is not weakness, it's protection. When you start protecting your energy, you begin to notice how much peace truly matters. You stop engaging in every argument. You stop defending your decisions to those who don't understand your journey. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You start realizing that calmness is strength. Not reacting to everything is power. You no longer allow small things to disturb your focus or emotional balance, because you know how costly that is. Mental clarity is a form of wealth. Protect it like you would your health or your time, because once your peace is gone, everything else starts falling apart. The mind is like a garden. If you don't protect it, weeds of negativity will take over. That's why you must be mindful of what you consume, what you watch, what you read, and who you listen to. Every piece of information carries energy, and your subconscious absorbs it all. Feed it fear, and you'll live in anxiety. Feed it doubt, and you'll hesitate to grow. Feed it strength, and you'll begin to move with confidence. Protecting your energy isn't just about avoiding people, it's also about curating your environment and the inputs you allow to shape your inner world. A lot of people think burnout comes from doing too much, but it often comes from doing too much of what doesn't align with your purpose. You can work hard all day and still feel energized if what you're doing matters to you. But spend even an hour trying to please others or chasing things that don't fulfill you, and your energy will drain fast. Guarding your mental space means aligning your actions with your values. Ask yourself daily, is this helping me grow, or is it stealing my peace? That simple question can save you from years of unnecessary struggle. Protecting your energy also means letting go of the need to control everything. When you try to manage every outcome, every opinion, every situation, you exhaust yourself. Peace comes when you realize that not everything requires your reaction. Some things are better left alone. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. You don't have to explain why you've changed. Detach from what you can't control and focus only on what you can. Your effort, your attitude, and your boundaries. That's how you reclaim your strength. Boundaries are not walls, they're filters. They don't block love or connection. They block disrespect and manipulation. Setting boundaries means being clear about what you will and won't allow in your life. It means understanding that not everyone will like your new level of peace, and that's okay. Some people only thrived when you were available for their chaos. But when you start valuing your energy, you naturally start losing interest in drama. You become more selective with your time, your words, and your company. That's not isolation, it's elevation. You'll know you're protecting your energy properly when you stop needing constant validation. When your sense of peace comes from within, rather than from other people's opinions. When you stop seeking approval and start trusting your own decisions, that's what true strength feels like. It's quiet, steady, and self-assured. You no longer react to every comment. You no longer chase after what's not meant for you, and you no longer let external noise dictate your mood. You begin to move through life with intention instead of impulse. Mental space is sacred. The thoughts you entertain become the emotions you feel, and those emotions shape the life you live. So, clean your mental environment the same way you would clean your home. Remove what doesn't belong: resentment, jealousy, comparison, overthinking. Replace it with gratitude, patience, and self-respect. Protect your energy from your own mind too, because sometimes the biggest threat to your peace isn't the world around you, it's your own thoughts. Learn to interrupt negativity with awareness. When your mind starts spiraling, stop and breathe. Ask yourself if what you're thinking is helping you or hurting you, then choose peace over chaos. You don't need to be available to everyone all the time. You don't need to respond instantly. You don't need to explain every boundary you set. Silence and solitude are forms of power. When you take time to disconnect, reflect, and recharge, you return sharper, calmer, and more grounded. People who don't understand this will call it selfish, but that's because they benefit from your unguarded energy. Protecting your peace doesn't make you cold, it makes you wise. Because the more you protect your energy, the more you can give it to what truly matters: your purpose, your health, your growth, and the people who bring out your best. There's a deep calm that comes when you master your inner space. The world can be loud, unpredictable, and demanding, but when your mind is steady, no storm can shake you. Protecting your energy isn't about running away from life. It's about facing it with clarity and control. It's about choosing where your attention goes and refusing to waste it on what doesn't serve your spirit. That kind of mastery is rare. It takes self-awareness, discipline, and daily practice. But once you develop it, you'll move through life differently, less reactive, more centered, and entirely in tune with yourself. So, protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Guard your mind from negativity, your time from distraction, and your soul from people who dim your light. Every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what strengthens you. Every time you step away from noise, you move closer to peace. And every time you choose to protect your mental space, you reclaim your power. Because real freedom isn't found in controlling others, it's found in mastering yourself. Chapter 15. Focus on progress, not perfection, in your daily grind. Progress is the only measure that truly matters, because perfection is a mirage that will never arrive. Every day, people trap themselves in the illusion that they must achieve flawless results before they can feel successful, and in that pursuit, they accomplish nothing. But growth isn't about being perfect. It's about moving forward, however slowly, every single day. The real winners are not those who never stumble, but those who keep going despite setbacks, mistakes, or imperfections. Each step forward, no matter how small, compounds into the kind of strength, skill, and confidence that perfection alone could never deliver. The pursuit of perfection is a silent thief. It steals your time, your energy, and your joy. When you fixate on being flawless, you become paralyzed by the fear of failure. You hesitate to start, afraid that your work won't meet some imaginary standard. You avoid challenges because they might expose your weaknesses, and in the process, you stop growing. Progress, on the other hand, is about embracing the journey. The daily effort, the small wins, the lessons learned along the way. It's about celebrating movement rather than obsessing over outcomes. The person who focuses on progress doesn't wait for perfect conditions. They create momentum by taking action now. Every day presents an opportunity to improve, even in ways that feel tiny. Finishing one task you've been putting off, reading a few pages of a book, learning a new skill, or simply showing up for yourself when it's inconvenient. All of these are progress. These small actions, repeated consistently, build momentum that carries you toward goals, that once felt impossible. Progress is measurable in effort, dedication and growth, not in how flawless your results appear to others. The more you focus on moving forward, the more unstoppable you become, because progress creates confidence, and confidence drives action. Perfection is also deceptive because it creates unrealistic expectations. You may see someone else's achievements and believe they reached them without struggle, when in reality, every success story is built on a foundation of repeated attempts, mistakes, and learning. Comparing yourself to those polished outcomes only slows your growth. Progress shifts the focus inward. It asks, am I improving compared to yesterday, instead of, am I better than someone else? It's a daily measurement of growth, not an external competition. When you focus on progress, you stop wasting energy on comparison and start investing it into your own path. Failure is not a setback when your aim is progress. It's proof that you're trying, stretching beyond what's comfortable, and challenging yourself to grow. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. Every misstep offers insight that perfection could never provide. Progress thrives on action, learning, and adaptation. When you release the need to be perfect, you begin to embrace experimentation. You try new approaches, learn from results, and refine your process. You move forward with resilience because the pressure of flawless performance no longer blocks your potential. Your daily grind doesn't have to feel overwhelming if you measure success through progress. Focus on consistent effort rather than monumental outcomes. A small step forward each day compounds into extraordinary results over time. For example, reading 10 pages of a book every day might seem insignificant, but in a year you'll have read dozens of books, each adding knowledge, perspective, and inspiration. Writing a page daily may not produce a finished book quickly, but the cumulative effect is undeniable. Progress, no matter how incremental, builds momentum and confidence that perfection could never spark on its own. Perfection also breeds unnecessary stress and self-criticism. You may beat yourself up for minor flaws, forget your accomplishments, and feel that nothing you do is ever good enough. Focusing on progress, however, allows you to celebrate each step you take. You recognize your effort, acknowledge your improvement, and understand that mastery is a process, not a destination. This mindset reduces anxiety, strengthens resilience, and keeps you engaged in the work that matters. When your goal is progress, every action counts, and every effort contributes to the larger picture. Consistency is the engine that transforms progress into achievement. You don't have to make giant leaps to move forward, but you must make regular ones. Show up every day, do the work, and trust that repetition is the secret multiplier of growth. Progress isn't dramatic, it's steady. It's the accumulation of hundreds of small actions that eventually become unstoppable force. Each day you invest in improvement, you're expanding your skill set, your confidence, and your capacity for success. The person who commits to daily progress surpasses those who wait for inspiration, energy, or perfect timing. The focus on progress also fosters humility and patience. When you release perfection, you accept that growth is a process. You understand that mastery requires effort, time, and consistent learning. This mindset keeps you engaged with your journey, rather than fixating on distant, idealized outcomes. You begin to value the lessons embedded in effort, the knowledge gained through repetition, and the resilience built by facing challenges daily. Progress turns setbacks into stepping stones and mistakes into opportunities, allowing you to keep moving forward without being weighed down by self-judgment. It's important to set measurable milestones for progress. Break your larger goals into achievable steps and recognize each one you complete. These small victories fuel momentum and build confidence, reinforcing the behavior of consistent effort. Each day, ask yourself, what one thing can I do today that moves me forward? then do it. Measure the improvement, however incremental, and repeat. Over time, these small acts of persistence will compound into results far beyond what you imagined. Progress is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, while perfection is a trap that keeps you standing still. Your mindset shapes how you approach every task, decision, and challenge. When you aim for progress instead of perfection, you act with courage, curiosity, and commitment. You are willing to take risks, learn from mistakes, and embrace growth in real time. You focus on improvement instead of outcomes, effort instead of judgment. The result is a daily grind that builds strength, skill, and resilience instead of frustration and self-doubt. You start seeing movement as achievement, process as value, and effort as reward. The key is to take action now, even when conditions aren't perfect. Don't wait for ideal circumstances, perfect resources, or complete knowledge. Take the next step, however small, toward your goal. Each step creates clarity, teaches you something new, and builds momentum. Progress compounds quietly and powerfully, often in ways you cannot see immediately. Over time, the cumulative effect becomes undeniable, and the person you become in the process is stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. So, focus on progress, not perfection. Embrace the daily grind as an opportunity to grow rather than a test of flawless performance. Celebrate effort, acknowledge improvement, and keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps. Each day you improve, you build momentum, confidence, and resilience that will carry you through challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. Perfection is an illusion that stalls growth. Progress is the reality that transforms lives. Your journey is not measured by flawlessness, but by the consistency of your forward movement, and every day you commit to growth, you become unstoppable. Chapter 16. Let go of your past and build your new self. Your past is not your future unless you give it permission to be. Holding on to old mistakes, regrets, or failures only keeps you trapped in a version of yourself that no longer serves you. Every day spent dwelling on what has already happened is energy wasted that could be invested in creating who you are meant to become. True freedom, true power, begins the moment you release the weight of yesterday and focus entirely on building the life you want today. The past is a teacher, not a prison. The lessons are valuable, but the chains are optional. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or pretending things didn't happen. It means accepting what occurred, learning from it, and refusing to let it dictate your choices now. Every time you replay old hurts or dwell on failures, you give them influence over your decisions, your emotions, and your self-worth. You cannot move forward while still carrying baggage designed to hold you back. Imagine trying to run a race while dragging a heavy backpack full of stones. That's what clinging to the past does. It slows you down, saps your energy, and limits your potential. Freedom is found in lightening that load. Building your new self requires courage because it asks you to step into the unknown. The person you are today is a result of yesterday, but the person you can become is unlimited if you consciously decide to leave the past behind. Change doesn't happen by wishing for it. It happens by intentional action, moment by moment. Every thought you entertain, every habit you adopt, and every decision you make shapes the person you are becoming. The foundation of your new self is built on choices, not circumstances. What you focus on today, you will become tomorrow. Many people resist letting go because the past feels familiar. Pain, mistakes, and regrets are oddly comfortable because you know them intimately. But comfort doesn't equal growth. Growth is always uncomfortable. It requires stepping away from old narratives and challenging yourself to see life differently. You must confront the truth. that holding on to past grievances or missed opportunities is a form of self-sabotage. The longer you cling, the longer you delay your transformation. The moment you release attachment, you create space for opportunity, creativity, and progress. Letting go is not a loss, it's liberation. Forgiveness is an essential part of this process. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning what happened or saying it was acceptable. It means refusing to carry the burden of resentment any longer. Harboring anger or blame keeps you tied to events that are long gone. Every time you choose to forgive, you reclaim your mental and emotional energy. You can then redirect that energy into constructing the person you aspire to be. The new self you build is unencumbered, capable and resilient because it's not weighed down by grudges or guilt. Forgiveness is a tool, not an excuse, and wielding it wisely frees your mind to focus on progress. Another critical aspect of leaving the past behind is breaking old habits and thought patterns that reinforce it. Often, the reason people can't move forward isn't because of one single event. It's because their daily behaviors and beliefs constantly bring them back to it. Change requires identifying those patterns and replacing them with practices that serve your new vision. Discipline in thought, action, and emotion becomes your ally. Every time you choose differently than your past would dictate, you strengthen the muscles of your future self. You begin to embody the person you want to be, rather than the one you were conditioned to remain. Self-reflection plays a powerful role in this transformation. It's not about ruminating or dwelling on regrets. It's about understanding how your past shaped you, recognizing what no longer serves you, and actively choosing new paths. Journaling, meditation, and honest conversations with yourself or trusted mentors can illuminate these truths. Awareness is the first step. Action is the second. Without insight into your patterns and motivations, it's easy to unconsciously repeat history. But with clarity and intentionality, you can design a life built on purpose, not past mistakes. Visualization is a tool that accelerates this process. Picture the person you want to become in vivid detail, the habits, the mindset, the energy, and the achievements. Focus on living as that version of yourself every day, making decisions from that perspective. This mental rehearsal trains your mind to prioritize growth over old limitations. The past may whisper doubts and fears, but your vision of the new self becomes a louder, clearer guide. When you act as the person you want to be, you gradually transform your reality to match that identity. Embracing the present moment is also crucial. You cannot rebuild yourself while living in what was. Attention and energy are finite resources. When you invest them in nostalgia, regret, or blame, you deprive your present of focus and clarity. Every breath, every action, every choice is an opportunity to redefine yourself. The past can inform you, but it must not imprison you. Living fully in the now empowers you to make the conscious choices necessary for meaningful change. Your transformation begins the instant you commit to this mindset. The journey of building a new self is continuous. It is not about a single dramatic change, but about consistent, daily effort. Each decision to act with integrity, courage, and intention strengthens your identity. Every choice to prioritize growth over comfort, understanding over judgment, and action over fear reinforces the foundation of your transformation. The accumulation of these moments, compounded over time, shapes a resilient, capable, and empowered version of yourself. Small, deliberate steps taken consistently have the power to reconstruct your life. As you shed your past, embrace the power of reinvention. You are not defined by failures, losses, or old identities. Each day offers a blank page to rewrite your story, and the pen is in your hands. The new self you build is a reflection of discipline, self-respect, and vision. It is someone who learns from mistakes but does not live in them, who honors lessons without being enslaved by them, and who moves forward with clarity and purpose. This is the essence of transformation, turning past pain into present strength and future possibility. So, release what no longer serves you. Stop carrying yesterday's burdens into today's opportunities. Commit to designing your life intentionally, moment by moment, habit by habit, and decision by decision. The new self you create is waiting, stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were yesterday. By letting go of the past, you unlock your potential, reclaim your energy, and step fully into the person you were meant to become. Your past is a lesson, your present is a choice, and your future is your creation. Chapter 17. Develop unshakable confidence through small, consistent wins. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build brick by brick through small, deliberate actions taken consistently over time. It isn't about grand gestures or sudden achievements. It's about proving to yourself every single day that you can handle what life throws at you. Every small victory, every moment you choose action over hesitation, every task you complete, despite fear, compounds into a deep, unshakable belief in your abilities. Real confidence is earned quietly, internally, and it grows steadily as you keep showing up for yourself again and again. Most people misunderstand confidence because they look for it in the outcomes instead of in the process. They believe that if they succeed spectacularly, they will automatically feel secure. The truth is, one massive win might give you temporary pride, but it will not sustain your inner strength. Confidence that lasts comes from small, repeated demonstrations to yourself that you are capable, disciplined, and reliable. It is the accumulation of consistent wins, no matter how minor, that constructs an inner certainty that no external failure can shake. Start by setting small, achievable goals that stretch your capabilities just slightly beyond what you are comfortable with. It could be as simple as completing a task you've been procrastinating on, making a difficult phone call, or taking the first step toward a larger goal. Each of these actions, when done intentionally, reinforces your self-belief. Your mind begins to record these victories. I did what I said I would do. I faced discomfort. I moved forward. Over time, these small wins build momentum and form a foundation for unshakable confidence. Consistency is the secret weapon here. One isolated win does not create lasting belief. What matters is proving to yourself repeatedly that you are capable of acting decisively and following through. Each time you succeed, even in the smallest way, you reinforce the neural pathways that support action, discipline, and courage. The more you act consistently, the more your confidence becomes automatic, not reliant on external validation or temporary circumstances. Another key element is embracing discomfort intentionally. Confidence grows when you deliberately step outside your comfort zone and meet challenges with resolve. Doing difficult or uncomfortable things daily, whether it's exercising, learning a new skill, or facing a personal fear, signals to your mind that you are capable. The brain registers the effort, and each time you overcome resistance, you strengthen your belief in your own resilience. Small challenges repeated consistently lead to mastery over fear, self-doubt, and hesitation. Tracking your progress is vital. Confidence grows when you can tangibly see your development. Maintain a record of your achievements, no matter how small. Reflect on them regularly and remind yourself of the consistency and effort you've applied. The simple act of acknowledging daily wins reinforces your belief that you are building competence, not relying on luck or external approval. Awareness of progress fuels motivation and strengthens your sense of self-reliance. Avoid seeking validation from others as the measure of your confidence. True confidence is internal. It is the quiet understanding that your worth and ability are not dictated by the opinions or reactions of others. You build self-assurance by proving to yourself that you can handle challenges and fulfill your commitments. Each time you rely on your own judgment, act with integrity, and meet your responsibilities, your internal confidence deepens. It becomes resilient against criticism, failure, and doubt. Celebrate effort as much as outcome. Many people tie their self-esteem only to results, but consistent action is just as important as success. Completing a difficult task, facing a fear, or adhering to a new habit, these are victories in themselves. When you recognize effort as a form of achievement, you cultivate confidence that is less vulnerable to external circumstances. Your self-belief becomes rooted in action rather than fleeting results, making it durable and enduring. Accountability also strengthens confidence. When you commit to someone, or more importantly to yourself, to follow through on a goal or habit, you create a system that reinforces reliability. Each time you meet a commitment, your mind internalizes the message that you are dependable and capable. These small, consistent affirmations gradually construct an unwavering belief in your competence and character. Avoid the trap of overestimating leaps and underestimating steps. Many people wait for extraordinary achievements to feel secure in themselves, but unshakable confidence is rarely built overnight. It is constructed incrementally, completing one task at a time, overcoming small fears, following through on promises, and consistently choosing action creates a pattern of success that your subconscious recognizes and trusts. Over months and years, these repeated behaviors build a mindset that is resilient, composed, and self-assured. It's also important to manage your self-talk, because confidence grows in alignment with how you speak to yourself. Replace doubt, criticism, and negativity with affirmations rooted in fact. Remind yourself daily of what you have accomplished and what you are capable of. Consistent positive reinforcement of your own competence strengthens your belief system. Every internal dialogue that emphasizes capability and effort solidifies the confidence being built through action. Small wins compound in unexpected ways. A habit formed today becomes the foundation for larger achievements tomorrow. Completing a task you once avoided increases your ability to handle the next challenge. Taking responsibility for one area of your life instills the courage to expand into others. The principle of consistent action and incremental improvement multiplies over time, creating an internal sense of mastery that cannot be easily shaken by external circumstances. Confidence is also reinforced by self-discipline. When you follow through on commitments, resist distraction, and act with consistency, you prove to yourself that your intentions are stronger than your impulses. This mastery over your actions directly translates into belief in your abilities. Discipline is the silent partner of confidence, ensuring that self-assurance is grounded in reality, not imagination. Remember, unshakable confidence is built from the inside out. It is the result of daily choices, deliberate actions, and consistent follow-through. It does not require recognition from others, nor does it depend on extraordinary circumstances. By focusing on small, achievable victories every day, facing discomfort intentionally, tracking progress, and reinforcing your self-belief through disciplined action, you gradually cultivate a deep, unwavering confidence that cannot be disturbed by failure, criticism, or uncertainty. Every small step matters. Each day you act intentionally, meet challenges, and honor your commitments. You reinforce your identity as someone capable, reliable, and strong. Over time, These small, consistent wins accumulate into a profound inner certainty, a self-assuredness that becomes a foundation for taking bold risks, embracing opportunities, and navigating life's challenges with clarity and courage. Confidence is not an accident, it is the inevitable result of deliberate, persistent effort, built one victory at a time, until it becomes unshakable. Chapter 18. Push through discomfort and train your mind for resilience. Discomfort is the crucible where strength is forged. Every time life challenges you, it presents an opportunity to train your mind for resilience and deepen your capacity to endure, adapt, and overcome. The mind's true power is not revealed in ease, comfort, or convenience. It is revealed in how you respond when circumstances push against you, when the familiar feels unsafe, and when the path forward demands courage and tenacity. The ability to move forward despite unease, pain, or uncertainty is what separates those who rise from those who remain stagnant. Resistance is inevitable. Every meaningful goal, every significant change comes with a measure of discomfort. Fear, doubt, physical strain, emotional tension, they all accompany growth. Most people avoid these sensations because they are unpleasant, choosing instead to linger in the familiar or the comfortable. But growth cannot occur in comfort. Training your mind to embrace challenge rather than resist it rewires your brain to see obstacles not as threats, but as invitations to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. The first step in cultivating resilience is awareness, recognizing that discomfort is not the enemy, but a signal that you are stretching beyond your current limits. Each uncomfortable moment is an opportunity to choose action over avoidance. When your body or mind resists, when fear whispers that it's easier to quit, that is precisely the moment to push forward. Discipline begins with the decision to act in spite of how you feel, not because of it. Every choice to endure discomfort strengthens your mental muscles and expands your capacity for future challenges. Resilience is built incrementally. You don't become unshakable overnight. It grows through consistent exposure to manageable stress, repeated challenges, and deliberate practice in handling adversity. Start small. Take actions that stretch your patience, confront tasks that intimidate you, or embrace physical exertion that tests your limits. Each time you face discomfort and push through, you send a message to your mind. I am capable. I can endure. I can adapt. Over time, these messages accumulate into an unbreakable belief in your own strength. Learning to manage your internal dialogue is essential. When discomfort arises, your mind will generate excuses, doubts, and fear. You must train it to respond with clarity, focus, and determination, instead of surrender. Replace thoughts of avoidance with affirmations of action. I will endure this. I will grow from this. This moment does not define me, but it trains me. The mind, like a muscle, becomes stronger with deliberate repetition of constructive patterns. The more you practice resilience in thought, the more naturally it manifests in action. Another crucial component is reframing struggle. Instead of seeing it as punishment or limitation, view it as training. Every obstacle, every challenge, and every painful experience is an opportunity to expand your endurance and sharpen your skills. This mindset transforms setbacks into lessons, resistance into progress, and discomfort into growth. When you adopt this perspective, the trials that once seemed unbearable become stepping stones to mastery, each one strengthening your ability to persist under pressure. Physical training is a powerful way to reinforce mental resilience. The body and mind are deeply connected. When you push through fatigue, strain, or physical challenge, you reinforce a mindset that can handle adversity in other areas of life. Exercise, cold exposure, disciplined routines, or extended focus sessions All teach the brain that discomfort is temporary, manageable, and purposeful. By conditioning your body, you teach your mind that struggle is not a signal to stop, but a signal to persist. Consistency in facing discomfort is the key multiplier. One-time efforts yield temporary gains, but repeated exposure to controlled challenges compounds into lasting strength. Create daily opportunities, step beyond ease, whether by tackling difficult tasks, confronting fears, or enduring situations that provoke discomfort. Each instance of intentional effort builds tolerance, fortifies mental toughness, and strengthens the habit of persistence. Resilience becomes an ingrained pattern, not a reactive response. Self-reflection enhances your ability to endure. After facing challenges, take time to analyze your responses. Identify what caused resistance, what worked to overcome it, and what you can improve next time. This reflection converts experiences into lessons, making each struggle a tool for growth. Awareness of your progress reinforces confidence in your ability to handle future adversity, creating a cycle where discomfort continuously strengthens rather than diminishes you. Visualization is another tool for training the mind. Imagine yourself successfully navigating discomfort, maintaining composure, and completing difficult tasks despite resistance. Mentally rehearsing these scenarios prepares your brain to respond with calm control and focus in real-life situations. The more vividly you envision yourself overcoming challenges, the more automatic resilience becomes when faced with actual obstacles. Your mind begins to recognize discomfort as an arena for competence, not a threat to stability. Discomfort also reveals character. Each time you push through, you define the standards by which you live. You demonstrate to yourself that you will not be controlled by fear, fatigue, or uncertainty. Resilience is not an abstract quality. It is the habitual practice of choosing action over avoidance, commitment over surrender, and persistence over resignation. By repeatedly confronting challenges, you cultivate a sense of mastery over both circumstance and self. Accountability strengthens this process. Sharing goals with a trusted mentor, partner, or peer, and committing to face discomfort publicly or deliberately adds external pressure that reinforces internal discipline. You train your mind to respond to challenges not only for yourself but also to uphold responsibility. This layered approach amplifies resilience, as repeated exposure to discomfort in service of accountability accelerates mental fortitude. Patience is essential. Building mental resilience is not instantaneous. It grows like a muscle, developing with consistent, targeted effort over time. You will encounter setbacks, moments of doubt, and periods of extreme discomfort. These moments are not failures, they are signals of growth. Each encounter strengthens your ability to endure, adapt, and persist. The cumulative effect of persistent effort creates a mind capable of remaining steady under the heaviest pressure. Finally, discipline and perspective combine to sustain resilience. Understanding that life will always present challenges allows you to anticipate discomfort rather than be surprised by it. When you train deliberately, you create a mindset that views resistance as preparation, struggle as instruction, and adversity as a stepping stone. With this approach, discomfort no longer dictates your actions. Instead, it shapes your strength, sharpens your focus, and reinforces your ability to thrive in uncertainty. Pushing through discomfort daily transforms not only your mind but your entire approach to life. The moments that once intimidated or exhausted you become familiar territory. You cultivate courage, tenacity, and endurance. Your confidence grows because it is forged through repeated, intentional action rather than fleeting circumstances. Resilience becomes a natural state, allowing you to navigate obstacles, setbacks, and challenges with clarity, calm, and unwavering determination. The path to mental toughness is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Every effort to embrace discomfort, confront fear, and push beyond limitations builds a stronger, more capable, and unshakable self. With consistent practice, the mind learns to endure, adapt, and overcome. It becomes a fortress of focus, discipline, and strength, prepared to face life's pressures without wavering. Each day you choose persistence over avoidance, challenge over comfort, and effort over surrender. You reinforce the inner power that turns adversity into opportunity. Chapter 19. Live with purpose and take pride in your journey. Purpose is the compass that transforms ordinary life into something extraordinary. Without it, even the most successful achievements feel hollow, and every action lacks direction. Living with purpose means aligning your daily choices with what truly matters to you, cultivating a life of meaning rather than one dictated by circumstance or expectation. When you embrace purpose, you stop drifting and start moving deliberately, understanding that each step, no matter how small, contributes to a greater vision of who you are becoming. Purpose turns effort into significance and struggle into growth. To live with purpose, you must first define what matters most. This requires honest self-reflection, asking yourself what you value, what ignites passion within you, and what legacy you want to leave. Many people spend their lives reacting to the world around them, measuring success by comparison or external approval. Purpose demands a different standard. It asks you to look inward, identify your principles, and let them guide your choices. Clarity in this area transforms indecision into decisive action, confusion into focus, and mediocrity into meaningful achievement. Taking pride in your journey starts with acknowledging the progress you have already made. Every challenge you have faced, every obstacle you have overcome, and every lesson you have learned has contributed to the person you are today. It's easy to overlook these accomplishments because the mind is often focused on what is next or what is missing. Pride is cultivated by pausing to recognize the steps you've taken, the discipline you've maintained, and the resilience you've developed. It is not arrogance, it is the quiet affirmation that your effort and endurance have value. Purpose fuels consistency. When your actions are guided by a meaningful goal, motivation becomes intrinsic rather than fleeting. Challenges, failures, and setbacks no longer feel like interruptions. They are essential elements of your growth and development. Every difficulty encountered is a teacher, shaping your abilities and strengthening your resolve. Living with purpose allows you to see beyond immediate discomfort and focus on the long-term impact of your decisions, creating a sense of direction and satisfaction that external validation cannot provide. Pride in your journey also comes from embracing your own evolution. Growth is rarely linear. There will be periods of rapid progress followed by plateaus or even temporary regressions. Instead of judging yourself harshly during these times, recognize them as natural parts of transformation. Each stage of your journey provides insight, experience, and resilience. Taking pride in this evolution reinforces your commitment to your purpose, reminding you that personal development is cumulative and meaningful, regardless of immediate outcomes. Living with purpose requires intentional action every day. Purpose is not an abstract idea. It manifests in the decisions you make, the habits you cultivate, and the energy you invest in meaningful endeavors. Prioritize actions that align with your values, contribute to your long-term goals, and enhance your personal growth. Avoid distractions and activities that consume your time without adding value to your vision. The discipline to consistently choose purpose-driven action builds momentum and reinforces your sense of significance. Reflection strengthens both purpose and pride. Take time to examine your actions, assess whether they align with your goals, and consider how each choice contributes to the life you aspire to live. Honest evaluation helps eliminate unproductive patterns, reinforces positive behavior, and illuminates new opportunities for growth. Reflection also deepens appreciation for the journey itself, allowing you to see how far you have come and to recognize the strength, determination, and wisdom that have carried you forward. Purpose also cultivates resilience. When life challenges you, setbacks no longer feel like insurmountable obstacles. They are reframed as part of the journey, integral to your growth and progress. A strong sense of purpose provides a stable anchor during turbulent times, guiding your decisions, maintaining your focus, and preserving your confidence. This perspective allows you to endure difficulty with composure, knowing that every struggle is contributing your larger mission. Taking pride in your journey is intimately connected to self-compassion. Recognize your achievements without comparing them to the accomplishments of others. Celebrate your unique path and the choices you have made, understanding that your growth is personal and cannot be measured by external standards. Self-compassion nurtures pride that is resilient and lasting, rooted in authenticity and effort rather than fleeting recognition. It reinforces the mindset that your journey has intrinsic worth and significance. Living with purpose requires clarity in priorities. Focus your energy on what moves you closer to your goals and what aligns with your values. Let go of distractions, negativity, and obligations that drain your energy without contributing to your meaningful growth. Purpose demands that you make conscious choices about where you invest your time, energy, and focus. By doing so, you create a life of intention rather than reaction, ensuring that each day brings you closer to the person you are meant to become. Your journey is also a testament to resilience and growth. Each challenge overcome, each lesson learned, and each habit developed contributes to your evolving identity. Taking pride in this process transforms ordinary effort into meaningful progress. It allows you to recognize that success is not merely the outcome, but the accumulation of disciplined, intentional choices over time. Pride rooted in effort creates a sustainable foundation for confidence, motivation, and ongoing development. Purpose motivates discipline, and discipline strengthens achievement. When your actions are aligned with your deeper goals, you develop the persistence needed to navigate obstacles, maintain focus, and push through moments of doubt. Each deliberate step reinforces your confidence and sense of direction, creating a cycle in which purpose and pride fuel each other. Over time, this cycle produces a life marked by accomplishment, fulfillment, and self-respect. Celebrating milestones along the way reinforces both purpose and pride. Recognize your growth, acknowledge challenges overcome, and honor the work you have done. This celebration is not about ego, it is about validating your effort, reinforcing your commitment, and sustaining the motivation to continue. Each small acknowledgement of progress strengthens your connection to your purpose and solidifies your belief in your ability to achieve meaningful goals. Ultimately, living with purpose and taking pride in your journey is about ownership. Your life is the product of your decisions, actions, and mindset. By consciously aligning with your values, embracing growth, and celebrating effort, you reclaim control over your trajectory. You cultivate resilience, fortify confidence, and develop a deep sense of fulfillment. Purpose turns daily effort into meaningful progress, and pride transforms your journey into a narrative of strength, commitment, and self-mastery. Your path is unique, and every choice you make shapes the story you will tell about yourself. When you live intentionally, act with clarity, and honor your progress, you create a life that reflects your true potential. Embrace purpose, commit to deliberate action, and take pride in the person you are becoming. Your journey is worthy of respect, Your effort has value, and your life can be extraordinary when guided by intention, fueled by discipline, and celebrated with authentic pride. Chapter 20. Stand tall and become the warrior your life needs. True strength is revealed not in comfort or ease, but in the courage to rise each day and stand tall, no matter the storms surrounding you. Life demands warriors, people who refuse to surrender to fear, who confront challenges head-on, and who take full responsibility for shaping their destiny. To become the warrior your life needs is to embody resilience, discipline, and unwavering commitment in every action. It is a daily choice to rise above weakness, hesitation, and distraction, and to step fully into your potential with clarity and courage. Standing tall begins with self-mastery. Before you can face the external battles life presents, you must conquer the internal ones: doubt, fear, procrastination, and complacency. The warrior is not fearless, but capable of acting despite fear. This requires mental toughness cultivated through consistent practice, training your mind to remain focused, calm, and decisive under pressure. Each time you confront your inner resistance, you strengthen the foundation upon which your strength is built. Discipline is the backbone of every warrior. Without it, courage is inconsistent and effort is wasted. Discipline is demonstrated through routine, preparation, and adherence to your commitments even when motivation wanes. It is the decision to act daily, to uphold your standards, and to invest in your growth, regardless of immediate reward. The warrior builds habits that reinforce strength, resilience, and clarity, understanding that long-term consistency outweighs short-term comfort or gratification. Courage manifests in action. Life will test you in ways that are uncomfortable, challenging, and unexpected. Standing tall does not mean waiting for fear to disappear. It means advancing despite it. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to prove your commitment to yourself and your goals. The warrior acts with purpose, refusing to be paralyzed by uncertainty, setbacks, or criticism. Action becomes a declaration of your intention to live fully and to command your life rather than be controlled by circumstance. Physical readiness supports mental resilience. The warrior trains the body not solely for strength, but to reinforce a mindset of endurance and capability. Daily effort, whether in exercise, physical labor, or controlled challenge, teaches the mind that obstacles can be overcome and discomfort can be endured. A strong body amplifies confidence, focus, and the ability to persist, creating alignment between internal resolve and external capability. Facing adversity with composure is a hallmark of the warrior. Life is unpredictable, and strength is measured in the ability to remain centered amid chaos. By mastering emotional control and cultivating patience, the warrior responds strategically rather than reacting impulsively. Calmness under pressure is not innate. It is a skill developed through reflection, experience, and conscious practice in navigating challenges without losing clarity or purpose. Resilience is cultivated through deliberate exposure to difficulty. The warrior seeks challenges, knowing that growth emerges from discomfort and resistance. Each obstacle surmounted expands capacity, sharpens focus, and reinforces self-trust. Resilience is not built in the absence of struggle. It is forged in the willingness to endure, adapt, and rise above circumstances that threaten to derail progress. The warrior's strength grows in direct proportion to the obstacles faced and overcome. The warrior embraces accountability. Taking ownership of your actions, decisions, and outcomes ensures that you remain in control of your life. Excuses are replaced with solutions, hesitation with decisive movement, and blame with responsibility. By holding yourself to the highest standards and refusing to cede power to external circumstances, you cultivate autonomy, and reinforce the inner strength required to stand tall consistently. Purpose fuels the warrior's journey. Every action, decision, and effort is aligned with a meaningful objective, creating momentum and clarity. Purpose provides direction during uncertainty, motivation during fatigue, and resilience during failure. The warrior acts not from whim or convenience, but from a clear understanding of what matters most. A purpose-driven life magnifies courage, strengthens resolve, and allows persistence to persist beyond temporary setbacks. Pride in effort, not ego, sustains the warrior. Each day of dedication, each victory over weakness, and each moment of disciplined action should be acknowledged as proof of commitment and growth. Pride reinforces belief in oneself, fostering confidence and fortitude. This is not arrogance. It is recognition that consistent action, self-mastery, and perseverance are the foundations of lasting strength. The warrior does not shy from responsibility. Life often tests our capacity to act decisively in challenging circumstances. Standing tall means facing obligations, confronting problems, and taking initiative without waiting for permission or ideal conditions. Responsibility is both a burden and a tool. It is through embracing it fully that the warrior shapes destiny rather than reacting passively to external forces. Resilience is further reinforced by perspective. The warrior understands that failure, setbacks, and struggle are not final. They are lessons and catalysts for growth. Each challenge overcome is a reinforcement of capability, endurance, and strategic thinking. By reframing difficulty as opportunity, the warrior converts obstacles into tools for mastery and maintains momentum even when the path is arduous. Community and influence also matter. The warrior inspires and uplifts others through integrity, courage, and consistency. By modeling strength and accountability, you create an environment where growth is encouraged, excellence is valued, and challenges are met collectively. Leadership, even on a personal level, is an extension of standing tall and living as the embodiment of discipline and resilience. Consistency compounds into excellence. The warrior's power is not measured by sporadic heroics, but by daily commitment to action, growth, and integrity. Each repeated effort, each small victory, and each challenge met strengthens the foundation of unshakable resilience. Over time, these compounded actions produce a life characterized by strength, influence, and mastery, enabling the warrior to face larger challenges with confidence and control. Vision provides clarity. The warrior stands tall with a clear understanding of what they are striving to achieve. Goals, values, and priorities are aligned, allowing for decisive action and purposeful living. Vision prevents distraction, fosters commitment, and creates the energy necessary to persist when circumstances become difficult. Without vision, effort is scattered. With it, every action becomes intentional and powerful. Ultimately, becoming the warrior your life needs is about integration, melding discipline, courage, resilience, and purpose into every aspect of daily living. It is not a temporary state, but a sustained way of being, where each thought, action, and choice reinforces your strength and determination. The warrior does not wait for perfect conditions. They shape their reality through consistent, deliberate effort. Standing tall is a commitment to excellence, an assertion of responsibility, and an unwavering alignment with your highest potential. It is choosing action over hesitation, purpose over distraction, and courage over fear. Every day, through practice, reflection, and persistent effort, you embody the warrior spirit, creating a life defined by mastery, integrity, and resilience. The warrior's journey is not easy, but it is worth every challenge. By standing tall, embracing responsibility, and committing fully to action, you cultivate the strength, clarity, and fortitude necessary to navigate life with unwavering confidence. Each decision to rise, act, and persist reinforces your identity as someone capable of overcoming adversity and shaping a meaningful life. Strength is earned through consistent practice, resilience, and unwavering commitment. Stand tall, embrace your role, and become the warrior your life has been waiting for.